Okay, welcome everyone to the 56th Keshe Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And once again, we'll be speaking with Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, as well as Dr. Elia Kostova, hopefully tonight, and some other guests, Nicholas Chua and Ralph DeFridas, and so on. And first we'll have the Keshe Foundation intro video, as this is for the new Spaceship Institute, and for people who might be interested in that, to join as a new educational institution. And you can join online now too as another option. So, okay, let's have a look at that.
Where does humanity go from here? What have we tried to do? What if there is more, much more? The Keshe Foundation is proud to announce a new way to bring humanity forward through technology that brings humanity in line with the natural operation of the planet and universe itself. The new science and technology discovered and developed by the nuclear engineer Moran Keshe centers upon the use and control of magnetical gravitational fields. This new body of knowledge opens the road to hundreds of potential applications, which offer solutions to most of the fundamental problems of the world, such as water, food, environmental contamination, and shortages of energy. The Keshe Foundation is proud to unveil the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Nestled amidst the beautiful shores of Bari, Italy, the Institute is poised to become a central hub in the spreading of plasma technology and knowledge. With its state-of-the-art 21st century facilities, the Institute will be able to provide students and staff an immersive way to learn the plasma technology, to be the leaders of the new generation of scientists and plasma engineers. The Keshe Foundation has opened the door to the world for peaceful usage of technology that is independent of the limited resources that are available on Earth. This is an understanding of how everything works together in harmony in our universe, and it applies to everything from the smallest to the biggest, from atoms to galaxies. We all are able to collectively work together in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and solutions for our society. This learning environment is new to the world, where there will be no test to confirm your understanding. The knowledge of everyone will be respected and allowed to flourish in a nurturing environment. Hands-on testing and experimenting will be widely used in conjunction with roundtable discussions to bring all opinions and knowledge forward. Students will be introduced to a change in the ethos of working in collaboration. Students will experience firsthand how we share knowledge in a free and open manner. Graduating students are expected to share the knowledge they gain from the university within their respective communities and nations. All formal teachings, lectures, and presentations will be in the English language, with technology available for immediate translation. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be offering 3-year executive master programs for undergraduate degree students and 1-year executive master programs for graduate degree students in the following fields: space transportation, new plasma technology, health, agriculture, materials, energy. The health section is designed to make students able to live in space without the need to return to Earth. To this end, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute has found processes for many diseases including ALS, cancer, coma, epilepsy, multiple sclerosis. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will offer online teaching courses which will enable anyone, anywhere around the world to enroll and increase their knowledge and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to direct their work towards commercial spin-offs and seek funding through the help of the Keshe Foundation. The access to the new science and new technologies is openly available for peaceful use to the benefit of mankind to make a better world today. Now you can be part of the changing world and the new knowledge. All commercial spin-offs are intended to be open source and patent-free. This is part of the core ethos of the Keshe Foundation and the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will have its official inauguration on April 21st, 2015, with courses commencing soon after on May 4th, 2015. The students of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute will be the leaders of the future who will make changes in all areas of space technology, science, medicine, agriculture, and energy. Anyone is able to apply, but acceptance is through invitation only. No prerequisites are required. We will be accepting approximately 250 students for the 3-year Executive Master's Program and 120 students for the 1-year Executive Master's Program. We welcome humanity's participation in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Where does humanity go from here? That is up to you. Apply today.
Okay, that was the voice of Vince on that video. And Vince is one of the ones that's going to be going to the opening of the Spaceship Institute in Bari, Italy. Okay, let's go to Mr. Keshe now, who must have some things he would like to talk to us about and announce. I'm sure it's been over 2 days since the last workshop, so who knows how many amazing things could have happened in that time period. And we can we'll hear from the other knowledge seekers after we hear from Mr. Keshe. Are you there, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, hopefully, luckily, still here. Good morning.
Have you landed in Bari or in that area?
Yes, we landed last week. We are here now. We are well settled in. First of all, good morning, good day, and welcome to your own educational program where you teach us and we are students. We have now, for actually 2 days ago, since Tuesday, we moved in more or less, start setting the lab up. Marco and Arman are busy setting all the reactors up, and hopefully by Monday we'll be up and running as before. The beautiful thing with the new setup is that, you know, transparency has been one of our strengths, that you could see whatever we could do with on the camera. The way the lab is positioned, we have become the fish tank, and we are the fishes in the tank. Everything we do is so transparent. You can literally come and look at us while we are working. The lab has an open view, as you see in the picture of the structure. So we have taken the transparency to one step further, which means total transparency. Even when we are there, we're putting things together, you can watch the progress if you pass by. The openness has brought us a lot of pleasure and a lot of strength, and we're getting stronger because of it. One of the good things, as Win said and Rick said before, just before we start, we are ready to announce that as of now you can go online and register online for online teaching. You can go on, and within the next few days you can fill in the form, and in the next few days then you can pay for the education as you see fit. You come across a new way of teaching, totally new way of teaching in the what you call online teaching. The way we have organized it, and hopefully we succeed with the online teaching, is that you can attend every teaching live. The foundation is organizing, hopefully we can succeed. We saw the cameraman yesterday, came to the center. We'll have 2 live cameras in each lecture room. and we have a one static camera on top that everything which is written on board or on the paper you can see. This means from 10 o'clock in the morning when we start till 1 o'clock, if you subscribe, you will be part of the classroom. Or you can listen to it later on during the day when 10 years down the line, it'll be online. Then most of the workshops in the afternoon, 1 or 2 workshops will be live broadcast, which means you can participate in the workshops too. This has never been done before. It's a major breakthrough for us, and hopefully we have achieved it. We have the camera crew. 2 cameras will be live on every teaching and it'll be recorded. This means you can see the link which are showing on the live stream at the moment. You can click on and go fill in the form, and then you will attend the full 1200 or near 1200 teaching sessions from wherever you are, whatever time you choose. We have made it possible to be that you pay, if you took a full course, you pay less than €1 an hour to be a student in the foundation. So if you join as a full-time 1 year and pay in one lot, you pay €1,000 for 1 year teaching. So you do not miss anything as a student who's here. We had to do this because, first of all, we have seen the pain of separation of families to be students here. So this way, if you want to learn, you still can educate yourself. Or you can pay in 3 or 4 installments, like 250 or €300 per term, and then you educate yourself that way. We try to make sure that the total structure stays fully transparent, because in this way we can achieve a much easier work. Our opening is on 21st and 22nd, which is to do with the foundation. On 23rd is a celebration joining with Noom. There has been a concern about our security. We have to tell you, those who we know are on the move and they've gone undercover and they've hidden the lines that they cannot be seen, we are still monitoring the position you have taken. And secondly, all people who enter, they have to come in for they come for presentations on 21st, 22nd, 23rd. They'll be vetted by the police. The Italian security services will be very visibly available, will be visible, and you have to hand your ID and passport to the police before you enter the building. We have high-ranking officials which are security risk, and if you're on a blacklist or if you tend to do anything which disturb, the prison is only 50, 100 yards away from the, what do you call it, the Keshe Foundation Center. Your process will take up to 18 months before you appear in court. So if you are coming, please don't bring any suitcase with you, because you have a room available for 18 months. Food will be paid by the Italian nation, and your clothing. This was one of the concerns of the security people, and we announced it for those who plan to do. You have to hand your passport, your ID, and we have a list, and any disturbances will be handled directly by secret service of Italian police within the crowd, and high visibility with the police. That we make sure we all enjoy the event, and some people who have some clandestine activities don't take it too far. Any interruption is immediate arrest. We make this very clear. The other thing is, when you come to the presentations, please bring, if you feel, anything you made. We make it open presentation, which means when you arrive, you have made a reactor, you made a test, you want to show something to the rest of us. We allocate a room or a part of a structure of the, what you call the building, to you to show what you have learned and what you want to teach. If you want to have a section or a part that you can have like a small workshop to show the things you have developed, bring it with you. I know Sohail and Evan will have this with them, and I know Mr. Hui from China will bring his piece with them. And other people who come, bring your reactors. This is your educational structure, but it's put in one place. So bring your knowledge and share it with us. We allocate a room. If you want a special space to show it, let us know beforehand through the application form you want to show us something, then we know what we have to arrange for you. The other good news we have to tell you is that as of this week, we have started the structure of the spin-offs of the foundation. We hopefully have found a location near university. It's a beautiful place, open space, and immediately 3 to 4 spin-offs will be set up, and we are bringing the expert in to help us to set it up. If you have any specialty in air contamination, air pollution, land contamination, land pollution, water contamination, and in medical applications, contact the foundation. We'll try to make a line that you can send application for me within the next week or so, that you offer your expertise to the foundation. You can come here to work with us, or be employed by the spin-off to be able to bring in different applications in this respect immediately within the next 2 to 3 weeks. If you want to be part of the spin-off and finance in the company that you get benefit of it, or you want the humanity to get benefit of it, you can buy shares in these spin-offs immediately. But realize that anything we develop in these spin-offs will be automatically and will be shared by people around the world. Which means the company will build and make systems at the same time, as we've seen like with the CO2 kits and with the belt. Because it comes from the original center, you find people stay loyal and order through the structure. So whatever you develop becomes part of the availability of the Keshe Foundation main structure, and the company would not be a billionaire company because you found the solution for something, but it'll make enough to reward for the investment. We already have Italian investors who have shown interest to be part of this development, and so we do not want to make it Italian exclusive spin-offs. You can share and then take the knowledge back into your countries and develop it for yours, but be connected to the shareholding here and the structure here. So if you were looking for a spin-off, the offices are, we've seen a huge laboratory space, about 400 or 500 square meter, and 3 to 4 offices that can handle a number of people in the offices, and we can expand it. The building has a room for expansion of other sites or spin-offs. So the spin-off of the knowledge seekers development in contamination of the air, water, land, and health officially started as of yesterday. We have to get the structure put within a couple of days in Italy, and then you can come. I have expertise. You can join us online, to support us online, to tell us what to do, or you can move in and become part of the employed group within the structure of the foundation to expand the knowledge. So these spin-offs will be immediately released as we develop. So as we said, we'll have the spin-off within coming weeks, and if you want to join anything, you have to go. I think Rick and Sandor and what do you call it, the media, university media group with Vince will set up a connection on the website for spin-offs. Then you can choose what you want to invest, what you want to offer, and how you want to handle. Then we put somebody in charge to handle all the application. But you have to be able to move very fast, because we had a couple of meetings in the past few days, and I met with a group, which in the Italian group within the vicinity of the university who are eager to invest and be the main investors. And I said it has to be invested by the international community. So foundation stays as a major shareholder because of the position we are, to make sure that the technology cannot be sold out, and the others will take part and they share whatever comes, but it's handled by you, not by us. The other news we have is that, as we told you, we were expecting a news as of 1st of April from TEPCO or the Office of the Prime Minister of Japan in respect to test of the Fukushima. We've been informed early yesterday morning, TEPCO or the management of the Fukushima site have asked for 48 hours delay to carry on one further more test for some confirmations. As we said, we do not expect a total, uselessness of the technology. They have spent a lot of time and money on it. We see we can participate, or the foundation technology can be used in part of the technology, and if we find that position, it will be further developed cooperation and collaboration. The Keshe Foundation team here is on a standby to fly into Tokyo immediately, if they allow us to do. But we do not expect a total rejection. There could be some solutions or collaboration for further solution down the line. In that respect, why we stay open with it is that we do not allow what happened with us in the past, that the reports to be double report. We know there is a double report, will be. Hopefully the Japanese will not do this, and they stay transparent. We are there to accept criticism and what is need to be done. At the same time, we are there to take credit that the humanity can benefit by it in what has been achieved. This is a total new structure of not decontamination, but containing the contamination. If this test, which is going on today, and the test expected by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Tokyo time, we will announce it in a rapid announcement, or we have to see how TEPCO decides to handle it, or the Office of the Prime Minister of Japan decides to handle it. So, as I promised you, with the 1st of April, we would have had a result. They have asked for 48 hours to carry on. One of the directors of the TEPCO wants to do one further test. So, you don't delay a report if there is one further test, to make sure what they come out is 100% correct, or at least what they had in mind to show part of it. This is a part of the structure of our work, and with it, I have made a small announcement before, some people who heard it or some people did not hear it. That is that we will, in a coming short time, hopefully, announce collaboration with the Russian structure. Which means we will move in on the space level, hopefully, if we can develop it further, into space technology with the Russian, organizations. If we do, this will sideline NASA totally. And this will bring NASA, in a way, the collaboration between the Russians and the Keshe Foundation, and hopefully with the Chinese space groups, will put NASA in a third class space technology, because, as I explained to you, we foresee a rapid development if the initial discussions which are taking bear fruit for the foundation. We are not expecting any problem at this moment with our situation and discussions, but as you know, these things takes time, and the people who are intermediaries are telling us that they are talking, and it's in progress. On the other hand, I have another piece of news for you, which I think will put a lot of people at ease. We were discussing the case situation last night with the university team group, and within the next week or two, if we find what we're looking for in the websites of the Keshe Foundation, which we think is there, we know is there because we embedded it years ago, You will be able to purchase ebooks from Keshe Foundation within the coming maybe a week, 2 weeks. Once Vince is happy, it's there. If not, we have to import it and plant it within the server. And so you can buy all the books as they are translated and available as an ebook on the Keshe Foundation internet system within the coming weeks. Hopefully before you come in to be a student, that you can read the books or you can have access to the books, or when you register as a online student, you can buy the books. The price for the ebook has been put at €9.99. We work at European standard, so you buy the ebook at 99 what do you call it, euro online. It'll be secure, you cannot copy, you cannot download system. We used this system initially years ago, and then we stopped it because of the whatever it was. We've been told we have to look into it, that it's still secure. So you can buy the ebook version at literally €10 online. A lot of people tell us, why do you charge so much? Foundation has expenses and it has to be covered, and that's why we use the books as a point. And there is another point. I've seen somebody who's bought a book some 12 months ago, August last year, and he has not received the book. We've seen a number of these things since now we've taken over the structure with the books which gone missing. We have dispatched about 40-50 books in the past 2 weeks, which has been bought months and months ago, and it was covered up by the organization in Belgium for their own clandestine activities that we run to be discredited. We are dispatching more books which has been bought and not been sent out by the people who were in charge of it. So whatever has been delay in the delivery of the books is getting corrected very rapidly by us. In cases people who bought and received books and then they still claim their money back, we leave that to the blessing of your soul. We know a lot of people have done that. After they claim their money from the PayPal, they have received their books, we have the tracking. We do not take any action. We leave it to them, for them to see how much they learn from it. So the books will be reassessed, and at the same time they'll be available very rapidly in the coming days. By opening the ebooks, we can allow, hopefully, the translation of the book, one in Spanish, the Portuguese translation, the Chinese translation, if we decide to bring it online, to be done if the people who are in Chinese section accept to do it, because they are doing it for the university at the moment. Then we see how and the way we can further bring all the languages into operation. It needs a lot of work for the pictures to be fitted and checking of the spelling and the rest of it. So we have to see what it is. There is a problem with the online secure system which we have the books on. This could be the first version without the correction. So we have to check if it's the first version or the second edition. And if it's the second edition, we have to upload the second edition through Wins to the system. The problem with this process is we are going too rapid in a short time. Some of the developments will come very close to the opening on the 4th of May, and some will happen afterwards. But the team, thanks to all their effort, are doing their best to meet the deadlines of where we are coming in. So a lot of people who've been asking if they can buy the ebooks, now we make it back on. We're trying to bring it back online within the next few weeks, that you can buy the books online. That's all I can tell you. And on the other hand, I wish you a good, what I call a workshop. Today is all other people, which was planned after a year we're getting there. I'll become a student and I'll listen to your teachings. And thank you very much for your collaboration.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Okay, so you're finished with the announcements there, and we can get into a couple of the knowledge seekers' ideas. Let's see here. How about Nicholas Chua? Are you willing to to speak about your neutron division concept?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And how would you like me to present that? With your drawings, or what would you like to start out with? I had a picture first of a
Yes,
it appears to be a reactor. Maybe we better explain that a little bit first, but then we can go to the pictures as well. It's up to you.
Okay. Where do you present the pictures?
I have to present them in live stream. Are you able to see the live stream at the same time, or else you'll just...
Let me try to get there.
Sorry, I thought you might have had that already up there, but it's okay. And yeah, what we see is, well, I believe it's a 3D printed reactor core, which is of a hemispherical shape, but it's got a special shape inside, as you can see, somewhat like a flower petal assembly. But we'll wait till we get the real information here. In the meantime, I can actually I'll show the first PDF here. I think this is the first one.
Okay, so yeah, no, I'm there already. So maybe if you can first put the Hello, Rick?
Yes. To put which?
Okay. Oh, that's the one. That's the one. That would be the first one to start with.
Which, the picture or the one that I have up now, which is the first PDF with would have actually see there's a lag with the picture on the live stream. There's about almost a minute lag or so, 30 seconds to a minute lag. So now I have a different picture up than the original one there.
No, the first PDF, the PDF which you have now is correct. That's the one we should start with.
Great. Okay. So I've had the other picture up, so people are used to looking at that, and now we can see a similarity here. We get it straightened out. There we go. Okay, you can brief people on your ideas there.
Sure. Can you make it a little bit small so that we can see all of it? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's coming up here. It just had the bottom cut off briefly.
Okay, so the basic principle is that I've come up with something which is called locked potential, which I've also reduced to what is called what I believe could also be called Magrav's law. This information can also be found from people like Walter Russell, as well as many other ancient civilizations, including the Egyptian. So it is worldwide information. It's not something new. It has been with us for, I think, for a very long time. The idea is that if you look on the right-hand side of the structure of this document, you have a box there. You have a table which has got different. No, on the right-hand side.
I'm focused on the table now, and the sound will come through on the live stream properly. Just I'm following your voice for direction on what parts of the document to focus on. So it'll take a few seconds and it'll be fine.
Sure. So as you can see on this table, on the top line we have, or on the top row, we have 7 tones. These 7 tones makes up an octave. The geographical representation of this 7 tone is a simple flower of life with 7 spheres, 6 spheres around the center sphere. Now, from the flow of life, you cannot easily see the value which is carried by each of the spheres. However, using locked potential or Markgraf division principle, you can easily see how each of these tones, or what each of these tones, what value each of these tones carries. So on the cube or on the table on the right hand side, it starts from the center of this cube or of this table. The first tone which we can assume starts is the center one, or the where it's written number 4 with the 4 and minus above it. This can be seen or can be visualized as a neutron plasma, as an example, unfolding itself. So at this stage, this plasma occupy a value of only one length. And at the same time, the same plasma occupy the area of one length as well. So if you take that one length and one area, multiply, you get the volume that this plasma can occupy, and it is 1 as well. However, if the area around this plasma allows this plasma to grow or to divide, it can divide itself to other more pieces. So from single plasma, it can divide itself to 2, just like cells. What is needed here, or what needs to be understood here, is you need only the division of 1 to 2. So the first single plasma, which all the value of 1, which has got the length of 1 and the area of 1, due to the environment around it allowing it to divide itself, it divides itself into 2 plasma. This gives us the second stage, which is +3 and -3 tones. Now, you have also to imagine that when this plasma is a single plasma at the center, where it's 4 plus and minus, it carries its value, and at the same time, it represents a specific element at this stage. Once it divides itself to the next stage, where you have 2 plasma out of 1, so 1 plasma divides itself into 2. Now you have 2 plasma occupying the value, occupying the length of 1 area. So occupy the length of 1, and at the same time occupying the area of 1, multiplying, occupying the length of 2, and at the same time occupying the area of 2. The area of 4. So when the plasma, when the single plasma now divides itself into 2, you have the same plasma which initially was occupying the area of 1 and the length of 1, now occupying the length of 2 and the area of 4. And when you multiply those two numbers, it gives you the value.
Excuse me. Can you just go back on the last part, please?
Yeah.
You're explaining it perfectly. This is very important, and I'll come back to it. But please go slow. Don't get excited. Just explain it in a very slow way. You have understood the concept. You are very correct. And then in time we explain what this means. As you're correct, this knowledge has been with man for thousands of years. And I explain how and the reason for it. But you're the first person who's going into explanation of it in a very correct way. Take your time. You can have the whole morning. We don't need to go somewhere else, because this is very important.
Thank you.
Go into detail as much as you can. There is no rush. You have the whole 3 hours, because if the knowledge seekers understand this, they understand the essence of creation. And I explain the reason for it why. We're not cutting you off. There is no hurry to finish. Go step by step, start again from this sector 4. This is the division of the cell even in the life of creation. This is the structure of the universe, is the structure of your planetary system is this way. So take your time, you have the whole session. There is no hurry to finish. The others can wait, because if they understand this as part of the total structure of the creation. Okay? Just take your time. You come in exactly the right time to explain this in detail. You have the whole 3 hours. We're not going anywhere till you finish and people can ask questions. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for that guidance, Mr. Keshe. That's very important. Take it away, Nicholas.
Okay, so if you can zoom a little bit toward that table, please. So from the center point, as I was mentioning earlier, that you have a single cell or a single plasma which divides itself when the environment allows into two parts. Now, when it does this, one part becomes what we call gravitational side, which is -2, and the one part become what we call magnetical side, which is another part of the same division. So now what you have is, on the second stage, now you have one cell which has become two. Now, you have to remember the same cell, when it was one, it occupied a specific distance or length and a specific area and a specific volume. When it divides itself into two, it increased the length, it increased the area, and therefore it increased the volume of that cell. So now you have got two cells. Now, these two cells, if the area around these two cells still allows, the same cell can divide itself again into. Now, you have to imagine these two cells, each one of them now can go into the next step, whereby each one of them can divide itself into additional two cells. So now you end up with 4. So you have a division of, you have 1, which is 4 plus and negative, or 4 plus and minus, and then you have 2, which is a 3 plus and 3 minus. Now, when this one cell has been divided itself into 2, now these 2 as well goes on to divide themselves again into additional cells. So you have to imagine each one of them divide itself again once and again once. So on the third stage, if you can see on the bottom, I've written the first. Now on the second, you have on the third stage, you have 2 cells dividing themselves, each one of them once. Now you have 4 cells. And the seventh, or the sixth and the seventh stage is these 4 cells again dividing themselves, each one of them once. So if you have 4 cells, each one of them dividing themselves once, automatically you end up with 8 cells. So it is 1 dividing itself to 2, the 2 dividing themselves to 4, the 4 dividing themselves to 8. Each time this process takes place, the length of this cell or of this plasma, the area of this plasma also grow, and therefore the volume as well increase. Now, when you look into the flower of life, what we see at the center is the first sphere. And then we have the 6th sphere around it, which makes it 7. These are those 7 stages of the division. However, when each time the division happens, it also happens by creating the polarity of both sides. So this also has to be considered. And when that happens, when the 7 vision, all of them are complete, what you end up with is not just 7 spheres, you can see them here, but actually when you look, you see a cube, whereby once you have reached the 8 cells, they have reached to the completion stage or to a balanced position stage where they can now behave as a single or as one again, and therefore this become a balanced or an equilibrium state of this entity. And from this point, it can continue to divide itself using the same principle to grow up. So if you can look on this structure, now you see you have a cube whereby you have 8 spheres, but all of them in totality makes, or once they get to the 8th position, once you have 8 of them, as they are in this case, in totality they become one, because now they are perfectly balanced in all aspects of it. And therefore, from this stage now, it can jump to divide itself again. So now if you have 8 cells, or you have 8 plasma in this case, they can divide themselves again in the same process. Each one of the 8 plasma dividing themselves again into one, each one of them. So now if you have 8, they can divide themselves twice into 16. Now you have jumped to the next level.
Can we have a look at the table, please, Rick? Can you show us the table, then the spheres?
Okay, I'm focused on that now. It'll take about 30 seconds to come through on the live stream.
Now, each time the division happens, we also have to imagine that the system will first create its gravitational before it creates its magnetical side of it. The idea is, at least what I can imagine, is that as the division happens, an entity, both of these things, both magnetical, which is gravitational, which is represented by the positive side, and radiation or magnetical, which is represented by the negative sign, all of these happen almost instantaneously. However, there is always one of them takes a lead first. So first you have the gravitational part of it.
Stop. Let's clarify this. Why do you think that gravitational take hold first? We explained this in the teachings in the past, but it should be very easy for you to see it, or at least try to understand. You're going 100% the correct way, but let's add to the knowledge that we just don't guess. We understand why.
Sure.
Why do you think the gravitational takes first?
I'm imagining that the entity first has to accumulate its potential before it can actually. So the gravitational part, both of them happen at once. However, there is a precedence that there is a part, half of this process, half of the division. On one part, you have the growing based on gravitational, where the center cell collect all the mass and become what it is, and then half part of the division becomes the radiation part now, which establish the barrier or establish the area of the entity itself. So the radiation part is what complete the entity or makes the final completion of the entity on the division part. So the division sequence or the division process is 2-part. First part is
let's just, you're there. You're 100% correct. Let's just add a little bit that will make it easier for us to understand why gravitational takes hold first. The reason the gravitational takes hold first is because all the materials, all the fields are available in that position. And because it's a compact area, you get the interactions of repulsion after you get the interaction of attraction or gravitation, because of the compactness. And because the interaction of the gravitation is within a center from the beginning, because it's focused itself in the center, it's always stronger. This is where the mass comes in. This is what you're explaining, where you think the gravitation takes hold first, because it is in a closer environment before even the fields are radiated out through the repulsion of the fields. They are pulled back in some by the gravitation itself. So gravitation continuously loses less than what the magnetical does. And if you read the book I've explained, that's where the difference between the magnetical and gravitational, where gravitational is always stronger because it's all the fields compact, gives the mass. You're explaining it perfectly, but we just add a little bit that now we understand the process. You're correct. Gravitational does take hold first because all the fields are compacted together. So the interaction, or let's explain it like the inertia of the fields are in that position. So they always pull in, they are stronger than what is leaked out. And what is going to be leaked out as magnetical partially reach the level of the gravitational, so they get pulled back. So gravitational fields always stronger than magnetical. And you're 100% correct. So understand the reason. It's just because of the close compactness of the fields, they encircle themselves faster. Or they encircle the fields to compact themselves, that they lose as little as possible. Carry on.
Thank you. Thank you. So based on this principle, we can see this is just the first stage, but this can grow. So once we have completed the first stage, the division can continue to the second, to the third, to the fourth, up to the 10th, where this process, I believe, restart all over again. Now, with regards to the what we call matter or material world, it is possible to use this principle to find, or at least to locate, different position where we can find the different elements or different matter, or even create a new one, but just based on what we think we need. So if you can imagine a material that has specific quality, then it should be possible basically to use this principle to find or to construct that kind of element. Now, I put a small presentation on the bottom of this structure, which basically shows how you would see this matter in the periodic chart. And I used these specific matter, which is basically this fifth octave. They're on the fifth octave because all of them are now present in our current periodic chart. Because if I could use the first one or the second, they haven't been found yet, but they do exist, even though we haven't found them yet. So on the fifth octave, we can see how the division of, let's say, carbon to beryllium to nitrogen to oxygen and other elements can be envisioned, or can be at least looked at. So the geometrical representation as a flower of life will be different. In this case, it will be bigger because the entity, as it continues to divide itself, its size also grow. So we should not expect to see the same structure of the flower of life as we have seen up on the top. And Rick, can you go on the next on the neutron division PDF, please, if possible? Unless if somebody has got a question.
Magrav core, is that what it's called?
No. This is the neutron division.
Yes, but they're named.
The one with this with a structure on it, with a picture on it.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I need to turn that sideways.
Maybe before you jump there, maybe I can just clarify. Yep, super. This is the one. Yes. Is it possible to rotate it so that it's up down?
Oops. Just a second here. So it's right side up, or you want it upside down? Right side up?
No,
yeah.
this is the right
I
way.
just
Yeah.
have to make it smaller here. Just hang on a size. Hang on a size. Hang on a minute.
Nicholas, can you
Yes.
see the comment on the chat from? It says if he gets into detail by adding a spiral separation, he can get into the range of the multiple single elements. Do you understand what he's trying to say?
If he gets into, I'm just going through it. If get into detail by adding spiral. Well, the spiraling happen, the division itself, because you have the magnetic and gravitational. As this division is happening, the spiraling motion of the entity automatically appears or happens.
Can you go
There is
in more detail? Try, take your time. Explain
okay.
how you see it. And let's invite other people like Circle Truth to come in, and let's see what we can learn.
Sure. So basically, as the division are happening at the same time, you have to understand these entities are in motion. They are not just sitting still. So there's a motion also involved in the process itself. And as this division are happening in both gravitational and then magnetical, this automatically create a motion. And in our universe, or at least in our solar system, we can see this motion being from the left hand side to the right hand side. And this
Okay,
is how
it is. Let's expand how the division comes from the first cell, like -4 + 4 you have, into 3 and -3.
Okay.
Let's understand the process. Let's go into very fine detail, because you have opened the essence of the division of the fields in the universe. So let's understand it. You're 100% correct. I just try to guide you in a way that you come to the conclusion, not me teaching. Because from now on, you are the teachers and we are the students. Try to explain, you're 100% correct. Instead of running very fast trying to explain other things. Let's go back to how you see that the division, the 4 divides to become 3 plus and 3 minus, and then with the further division becomes to where does this division come from? How is it created?
And
What is your idea?
Can you please tell me why it's called 4 to start with, and not, is that just an arbitrary number, or is there a specific reason to make things work out properly? Go ahead.
Okay. From my understanding is that what we have is, you have to imagine this. You have to imagine this as, for example, okay, let's take an example of a solar system and the sun. So the fields which are released by the sun are compact, they have got specific strength. And as they are moving out from the center of the sun, radiating out, depending on the pressure, magnetic and gravitational field pressure within different, let's say, orbits, the same package changes as it goes out. So,
No, it doesn't change. Change. Use that, please. Explain that word
I know.
change.
Sorry, I know. It doesn't change, but the gravitation, magnetic and gravitational field pressure allows that division to happen only
No.
based on
Where
the
does the
environment.
division come from? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's
The division
go
comes.
into detail. How
Okay.
do you get the division? This is if we understand this step, then we understand how the rest of the divisions come in. Let's concentrate on this for a few minutes. You have circle number 4,
Yes.
and then your circle number 4. This is what we call in our teachings the principal core, the principal matter, the principal field. Your number 4 relates this into the understanding of the books and the writings. And if you understand exactly how the division comes and how it supports, then once we understand this basic, the rest we can understand how 3, 4, 10 and 20 is created. Where do you think, or can you explain? I don't think you know it, it's just explain to us that we understand your thinking. I'll try to guide you. Is how do you think 4 divides into 3 plus 3 minus? If you understand this first division, then we can go carry on.
Okay. The 4 becoming 3 plus and 3 minus, actually, the 4 becomes 2. Or the 4 or 1 is a simple. We can look at, for example, the cell.
No. Let me re-explain myself. Let me
Mhm.
explain myself in a different way.
Okay.
Look at number 4 as a plasma. Look at number 4 as total plasma. Let's look at it. Look at it as a sun. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you see the sun, the energy, magnetic, gravitational field? When we talk about this, we're talking plasmatic energy. How does this plasmatic energy divides into 3 plus and 3 minus? And you have to understand in your explanation why you have center line flow. This is important. So please go back and enlighten us in a different way, looking at number 4 not as a circle but as a sun. Try to explain to us as a plasma. How do you see the plasma of the sun dividing into 3 and 4, 3 plus 3 minus? We will spend time on this. Let's go in a very deep detail on this. And what I want to tell you before we go any further, we invite you to make a full-time video, full 3-4 hours video about this. And I will use this as part of the teaching in the Institute if you allow us. Because you have touched the essence of creation and you have just come in the right time. Your soul is in the right place. And that's why it's here guiding us today. So this is whatever we talked, as I said, in the first year, we thought how to make the fuel. Now we're going with you as a gift to us to the detail. Let's understand this fully before we go a step further. I'll give you even the whole of next 2-3 lectures of the time of workshops just to teach this. And we send you a team, or you can come to us and we make a length teaching, maybe 10 hours with this, but go into it in a fine tooth, exactly explaining why, that the simple man on the street can understand.
And if we can make an animation or a series of animations with this theme, I think that would really add to the
knowledge.
To the mix.
Yeah. So try to understand. Take your time. We are not going anywhere. I don't want to go in anything to show people what they're producing, gold or diamond or whatever, because they see the end physicality, but they don't understand the principle of the creation. And with what you're showing us is the principle essence of creation. And then I tell you how important this is. In the picture which is on the screen, you have shown us a center, you have shown us 6 circles. Look at the point of the touch of the 6 circles to the outer and the gap in between. This makes the 12. 12 points of balance. And when these 12 points of balance are created, then you go to the next division as you explained. The 12 disciples, which has been granted by the Creator, is created on this, because by the 12 points you touch the essence of the man, and then you touch the other essence of the other souls of the man. This is where the knowledge got lost. This is where in places like in England we see the 12 stone in Stonehenge. This is why we have 12 disciples, 1 woman and 11 men. It's been put in narrative that man can understand. But with what you are showing, you show the essence of creation in the balance of the fields, be it in the matter, in the soul, or in any other dimension. So if we understand, if we, with your teaching, we come to understand the essence, we understand the whole totality why man is going. If you go into the Islamic religion, in the Shia section, we have 12 imams, which one is missing, the last one. You have 12 people as disciples of Christ, bless his name. You have 1 woman. In the announcement we have to make in the opening of the foundation, for the first time we explain, and that's why you are here. You are here as a soul to teach us, because you've been given the message. But you have to be able to explain the message. This picture on the screen is the essence of the creation in the universe in every level. Look at the 12, where the +3, -3 touches. 12 and 6. Where the 1 plus and 1 minus touches the circle. 2 and opposite 8. In between, equal distance, where the 1 and 3 touch, is number 1. When you have 12, you create in a plasmatic condition the essence of the creation, division, and creation of the soul, and you understand in time. I explain why you have 12 disciples. This number 12 is fundamental in the essence of creation. 4 is the essence of life, essence of the Creator. So let's understand why we come 2. Even in the division of the cell of the man in life, why 2 becomes 4, 6 and 8, and then when he achieves what you are explaining, it becomes the whole essence of existence in the universe. When you look at the structures in the galaxies, you will see the same in time. So take your time, because you have come in, your soul has come in the right time to teach us. So I try to add to the knowledge that people can see the relationship in what you're doing, or you're explaining to us, in respect to the totality. So take time. Number 1, the 4 which you explain, is what we call the principal matter, principal energy. This is the essence of the creation from the Creator in the universal condition. This is the essence which in time, in the past, was taught to man by the ones who made connection with the man to explain this, and knowledge got lost. That's why we are here, because at that time man was not wise enough to understand this. Now you've been gifted to us to explain this. Let's do it properly, and then we don't need to lose it again in generations. Carry on. The 4 becomes 3 plus 3 minus. Why? Understand the reason. Just don't go, because then they understand how the 1 and the 2s and the others will be created. You have number 4. Now you explain to us, you see the gravitation to be stronger. We explain why, because it's the fields closer, the residual you collect, so you always have more collecting as residual in the center than outside. Explain to us how you see it, that you achieve 3 plus and 3 minus. Where do they come from, to your understanding?
Okay. 3 minus and 3 plus, or 3 plus and 3 minus, comes about in a way of balancing that division. So when...
How does it come? How do you see that it's balancing? Or do you want me to try to explain this a little bit, and then I'll leave it to you to carry on with it?
I'll be more than happy if you can.
No, I'm your student. I just try to add. The point is if you look at your center point where all the 4 colors come together in the center of the 4, look at the lines which they go out from this center, about number 3, about number 1 or 2. Let's take number 3, then we understand it. These are field forces which are radiating out because the environment allows them to go out, because the pressure is not there to suppress them. So as you have number 3 starting from right in the center dot, going outwards to the left or to the right to go up to make 3 plus or 3 minus, these fields from the point of departure, because they have the room, at different strength they interact and they rub against each other. So now the division starts. Let's say the strength in the center is 12. 1 centimeter away, the strength, because from 0 to 1 centimeter is not constant, because the field as they open up, they lose part of their magnetical field force and they gain some of their gravitational field force. So the rubbing starts. And in the rubbing, you lose some. So you still have some. It's like putting a steel ball against a grinding machine. You see those sparks coming off. It's exactly like that. So now the sparks start coming off and the ball becomes lighter, less mass. And in being in that position, and in the central gravitational force in the field in number 4 being stronger, they get pulled forward. So as they rub against each other and they go further, they get to the point that the gravitational point in the center of 4 exerts its pressure on the top end of number 12 contact point on the top of +3, and it pulls it back. And that's how the spherical shape in respect to the center is created. So what happens is that as the fields come from the center point of the 4 out, the minute they come out, the minute they create nano distance from the center, because they have the room, they expand, and as they open up, they rub against each other. So now the loss of field strength comes into operation. And that loss itself creates a new field condition. So now you understand how the spherical shape created. The center point of the 4 is still the provider. It does not finish. So continuously adds to this. So in adding to, you get the fields which they interact, they rub and they hold. So now whatever has become friction make their own strength system. And so now at the point of the center of the +3 or -3, you find a point of balance on the point of contact, which is where you see -2 and -1 crossing the 4. That becomes the center point for 3. Because now the field strength which are similar or the same, now they gather at that point. And then they start the same process as 4. Understand the totality. So the fields come out of 4, which is the principal matter, principal point. And as they expand, they interact, they rub against each other. And the balance of the plasma of this rubbing against each other leads to creation of number 3 and 4. Number 3 plus and minus. And then as the totality of the field, I would say dove with doves and cats with cats, that point in the center of the strength becomes the center of the 3. Now the field forces released from the 4, which are equal in strength in the plasmatic level, make the center of the 4. And that's how the division of the plasma starts. So you have to visualize and understand that irrespective of what happens, you have a source. And this is part of the understanding which a man cannot visualize three-dimensional structure. This center point radiates out spherically. And the first division of the residual create 3 and 4 from the residual of the friction of the magnetical gravitational within 4. And now that you created 3 plus 3 minus, you have the same structure. Now you have the residual of the field friction in the center of the 3 interacting with the residual of the minus 3 plus the residual of the plus minus 4, the center. Now this friction adds to release of other field strength of the same. So now you create the center point of plus 2 and minus 2. And now you have the same position of the expansion, interaction, residual. Then you come to create the interaction between the field forces, gravitational, magnetical, in 4, 3, and 2, which leads to the creation of the residual at 1. Then, because the field forces within 4 is the principal connection, they all come to a balance point. They make what we call, if you look at the atomic structure, the ring number 1, S1. That's the point of the balance in respect to the center. Then you still have to understand that the plasma in number 4 is still expanding and creating its own, which releases its balance to number 3, and now to the interaction of the rest to 2, and the interaction of the rest to the 1, and it comes to a point that the balance comes and the size of 4 now is dictated by 3 plus or minus, 2 plus or minus, and 1 plus or minus. Now the creator become conditioned on its size by what is created. This is what it says, I made man in the image of myself. Now the image replicates and dictates the condition of the creator. Then if you understand this, now you achieve the center point. In fact, if you call the big black circle again number 4 plus or minus, while these divisions are happening inside it, then all the interactions between plus minus 2, plus minus 1, plus minus 3, and the source of the totality, which was the original 4, start the same expansion of the rubbing and releasing interaction of the fields, and then it becomes to what you explained to 8 and the 64 and thereon. And this was the essence of creation, why the man was introduced to the 12-hour clock or 12 disciples, because when they are together, the soul of the totality from 12 becomes 64. And when the total souls are in balance, it becomes the next division. And then they all connect and are equal. And that's where the foundation work comes from, World Peace Treaty. We started with 1. Now we announce the existence of the 12 focal point of the core, which is the soul. You will understand in the meetings of 21st. And then you understand how through the 12 will reach the totality of man, because the 12 souls in the center, they're wished through the souls. Now physicality is peace, and that will apply to the rest of humanity. It's the same with the division of the neutron into electron, and the position of the electron from time of division into a new structure of atomic structure. There is no difference. And you find out, as long as you have one which is absorbing less or more, that creates the condition of misbalance and for division. This is why in Christianity you call it Judas. In the Islamic religion you call it the 12 Imam missing. In the Stonehenge, if you look at one of the points, it's a slightly different position. Because the fields cannot constantly be the same, one of the spheres, one of the plasmas creates the condition of availability for division to a bigger structure. In the 12 we'll meet, one will be missing again with us, because that allows the division. You have to understand the structure. If all 12s are in balance, they pull all the fields together and there is no room for expansion, because it becomes self-centered. This is what you have to come to comprehend. That center circle is the principal structure. It radiates.
Mr. Keshe?
Yes.
I seen, well, while you were talking there, I just went out and looked for another picture to do with the expansion, or the, if you think about the different levels, the S1, S2, etc. So I found this picture that we see on the live stream now, and if you just take a quick look at it, you can see the center point with the torus around it. Is that why we have the torus around the planets and the suns and everything else? And that's where the principle of the principle of the matter of the creation is in that area. Is that why?
Can you go back? Yes, you just go back to the same thing as Vince just put up. Rick, can you go back to the picture with the gold rings on it, please? Yeah. Okay. Now, what you explained, let me explain to you another point while we got this picture. No, go back, open up with all the pictures, all the gold rings, please.
I've got the gold rings open on the live stream. It'll take a few seconds to come through there.
Okay. Now maybe we understand with what just been explained to us by our colleagues. We understand, expand on the knowledge, then we can see what it means. I'm not receiving it. I'm still on the big circle of blacks. Okay, it's coming up. Take that picture aside. Keep it with this. If you can add the original picture of the 7 rings next to what it is. If you look at the structure, in the center is totality visible to all. At the circle of number 4, can we see the gold rings? It's very important if I can explain it, if I can explain this in a way. Can we see the gold rings next to the picture of 4 plus 3?
I've got all 3 of those pictures now. I can take out the 24 circles if you wish and focus on the gold.
No. Need the 24 circles. I'll explain to you why in a minute.
I'll put all 3 pictures on there.
If you can do it, then I'll explain it.
You should be able to see it now on the live stream. It's on there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I see it now. I got it. I had to refresh. Okay. Let's look at why and how the universe works. A, it's the creator. It's the essence of creation, or you call it the principle, energy or matter or a strength or fields. Then you have B1, from what our colleague has shown us with his drawing. At the point of the 3m minus 3 plus 2 plus 2 minus at the circle of the 4, you find a point of common position. So, in a way, for the first time, the essence of the creation become tangible and visible, because the field forces of the 3, 1 and 2 have given dimension to 4. Because before this, 4 was open, it could go any size. Now its own creation has given its limitation. And in a physical term, if you go to A to B, At the point of the total circle of the interaction of the fields, you find the essence of detection and manifestation. Because being different to the others, at the point of, let's say, interaction of -2 and -1 on the circle of the 4, you find the point of existence in conformation of visibility, tangibility. When you go to B, not B plus or B1, but to B, now you have the both mirror. So every structure has a mirror because of the plus and minus, or what he calls it 3 plus 3 minus. But at the point of each circle to go from B to C, you get another line of the strength of manifestation, or visibility, or detection, or materialistic. So anyone which is on the field, the total ring of B1, does not matter where in the universe you are, because of that level of strength, you are visible to each other. Then when you go to C, anyone on the ring of the interaction of the outer boundary of the C are visible to each other, but they don't see B1. As B1 does not see the A, because it's radiated out towards its own creation. That's how the levels of the creation is, and we don't see the others who are in their own circle, visible to each other, but not to the others. But they still have existence. If you go into the 24 circles, then you see the point of tangibility on every cross point. But anyone within the first circle is visible to them because it's have the same strength. In the 24, the total outside, if you look, does not matter where you are, because you're at the same strength within the same environment, you are visible and tangible to each other. And if you go back to A is the creator. So he sees the totality because it's still feeding D, even though it sits and it fits B1, A, C, and D. And that's why in the structure of the universe, we say, the God exists and lives amongst us, because you still receive the fields of his essence, of his creation. From A, even you're at the D position and thereon. This simple drawing has completed the cycle of the creation in a very simple way. Then you understand in which points you will be able to see other entities in the universe, which is visible and tangible to you. And you're not aware of B and C because they're of different strength and they made you, or in time you lead your energy to creation of the others further down, E, F, and G, and the rest. So, as our friend was explaining to us, the point of tangibility is where you are in that circle and in what strength you are. Then, that point you become materialized to the ones who are of the same strength. But to the others you are not visible. And this is how the division in the universe comes. Carry on. Go back to what you were teaching, because if you can now explain from your point of view the division of the 4 to 3 plus and 3 minus, then we can carry on to understand how the rest has come.
Okay, so I think you already done that part of the division.
No. I explain. It's your job to teach us. I guide. I try to explain in a different way, but what I say and what is heard is totally different. So
I understand.
it's good to see what you're adding. You bring in the knowledge on the table. I try to give a total picture that when you explain, they don't focus on one thing, but they see the beauty of it at the end, what is ending up to, but they have to understand the step and the process. We see a beautiful flower, but we don't understand how much hard work the gardener has done to put a seed in, to water it and look after it to become a flower. You have put a seed in, now water it and we guide it, but now we know what is the end product, how beautiful it is. Carry on.
Thank you. So as as 4 plus divide it, or as the field of the 4 plus radiate out to create +3, and at the same time we have to imagine this being the concentration of the gravitational field. Then at the same time, the radiational field is also created to balance that growth, to balance the division of the plus is being balanced by its opposite side, which is -3. So once they have reached that balanced point, then this allows or give a chance for possible next division, because now we have the interaction between the +3 and -3 with +4 and -4, and that interaction also allows another expansion of +2 and -2, and as this comes to balance as well, it goes on to the next stage. Once that stage is complete, then we have a complete balanced entity which can continue the division if the environment allows it. I don't know, maybe if there's a question I could try to explain it a little bit more.
I would like to actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to try to see if we can use this example that we see on the live stream to explain how for example, the moon is created, because that would be like an electron or a solar system. So the balance points can create the matter, but only on the specific level of that matter. Correct?
Well, we could say that, but the moon can behave or is like an electron to a proton, which is a planet. But I don't think the magnetic and gravitational field of the planet made the moon. I would like to think the magnetic and gravitational field of the sun made the moon. But again, this is just my speculation. I could be wrong, but I would imagine that's how most likely all the system would be made. It's possible also that the magnetic gravitational field of this planet could create structure around it, but I don't know whether they could be as big as the moon.
I can put this in a physical observation point of view. You take a shower and you open the top of the shower. The shower head becomes as what you call circle 4. And the water which comes out of it, according to its pressure and the strength you allow the water to come out, it can drop all the way straight down to the floor. as long as it doesn't come in touch with anything. So now you have the shower head as the star. And you watch it dropping all the way 1 meter, 2 meters down to the floor, and then becomes together again. That basement of the shower becomes the boundary of the plasma of the solar system, let's call it. Now you put your head in. Now you introduce a new plasma in. What happens? The fields from the shower head hits your head and it splashes out. And then you start seeing little water pools around the shower. Some bigger splashes, some smaller splashes. Or when the water hits the basement, it splits into different pools because now it gathers together again in a different condition in the basement. So now you enter the Earth into the solar system and you still get the rays of the field of the sun. In conjunction in what is gathered around and the field strength of the center and the position of the Earth in respect to the sun, it dictates what size of splashes you see around you on the floor in the shower. So the moons are dictated their creation by the position, the strength of the center, and the radiation and the size of the plasma of the solar system. When the scientists now are looking for systems with a moon or systems with planetary structure in them, that they find a habitation like Earth that we can find another structure, they are looking in the matter level at the level of the observation of the man for the planetary system, where in the same structure of the plasma of the solar systems where they don't see planetary system, there still exists planetary system which are not visible to man, because it's like a circle B and D or A and C. So what we observe is the residual collection of the field of the same strength, which a stronger field dictates its position as central point. That's why we see larger number of moons on different structures further out in the outer boundaries sometimes. So it's no difference between when you introduce a obstruction or a new field, which is both gravitational magnetic field, for as much as the fields hit the Earth gravitational magnetic field and they spread to become light, part of the fields splash outwards and they become what we call solar dust. Most of the solar dust are created by gravitational magnetic field of the planetary system themselves as they reduce the strength of the plasma of the sun as it radiates out. And if this position of the radiation is at the point of the weak, they gather together at the strength which is created plus the other dust and they create the moons. The moon is not created by the planetary hitting the Earth and then part of it becoming the moon. No, it's all load of, God knows, light being the speed of ultimate speed. Earth gravitational magnetic, the same as what our friend has shown us, created a gravitational magnetic field point of balance, which is the moon, and collection of the dust. You see dust gathering on the surface of the moon is from the residual of the materials in hitting the atmosphere of the Earth, and others which has done the same, or the plasmas which have reduced in the strength at the field at the point of the moon, that they gather, its gravitational inertia pulls it in. So moons are created mainly by the field interaction of the planets themselves. But if it's strong enough and it's in multi-layers, when you have a huge multi-layers, you have more moons. Because each moon is created according to the strength of the layer. As the sun is in the center and according to the strength, Earth is at this position, Venus is a different position because of the distance from the center and the material it carries. The same thing applies to the stars, the planetary system and their moons. The same thing applies with the creation of atoms, atomic structure in respect to the electron and the protons. What field is radiated by neutron, additional neutron in the structure of the nucleus, which leads to the division or creation of the absorption of the fields to additional electron and conversion into what you call isotopes. The isotopes are created by the radiation field released by the additional neutron or by the neutrons inside the nucleus trying to reach a point of balance of continuity. So now you get one electron up or down, or you get one neutron, or you get one proton up and down. Or in conversion of the neutron to come balance, you create an additional proton but you lose an electron, or you absorb an electron, or you share an electron in the matter state. Where in a GANS state, you share balance fields in respect to connection. So what you have explained is exactly how the moons are created, and by nothing else. No meteorite has ever hit the Earth that the moon was created out of its division. It's a load of nonsense. In coming time, you will see when you start producing matters, when your fields interact in your star formation, and you will see you start making gold in the fresh air atmosphere in the lab. Because at that point, you created a condition in respect to the center point reactor that allows the creation of an atom, a new structure, or what you call a moon. Carry on, sorry about that.
Thank you. So I think also the current picture on the live stream can add a little bit into that expansion and the division, because at least in this case we do not see the spheres as in a flower of life, but we see it in a single sphere. So maybe it's more easy to envision or to imagine how the interaction is between 4 plus, 3 plus, 4 plus negative, and 4 and 3 plus and 3 negative, 2 plus and 2 negative. So we can see it as an expansion of a plasma going out and becoming bigger and bigger.
Excuse me, Nicholas. I noticed when Mr. Keshe was speaking that if you were to look at this diagram and see where 1 is as the sun, and maybe 2 is Mercury, and then where 4 is there would be Venus, and then Earth would be the blue line, and Mars the green line. It seems almost like the proper distances from the sun as we measure them, and I wondered if that was true.
I think you're correct, because all we have to do, is to observe. For example, if you look on the atmosphere of our planet, I think this has been explained on these workshops, that we have nitrogen on the atmosphere. So if we can use this principle to find where is nitrogen, and we can look onto let's say the planets inside or the planets outside to see what is available on their upper atmosphere, then we can easily find them as well on this structure. You are right. This is how I would mean. This is how the solar system or any other plasma system would be constructed.
And also it comes to mind that we should really have a 3-dimensional table of elements rather than the flat screen mode that we've had for what seems like centuries. We could actually describe them, the various atoms, in terms of the layers of the sphere, in a sense, it seems like. Interesting. Carry on, sorry.
Is there any question maybe on this one? or on this part. So maybe if you can jump to the next one, Rick. Just if in case there's no any other question on this part here.
Now, by next one, you mean the MagGrav core? I don't have a list on.
No.
Which...
The other picture, the other cross, something like a the neutron division one.
Well, I'm in.
Oh, the first one you were trying to put straight.
The one with the something like a cross picture.
Oh, right. Okay, I got you. The structure of
Yes.
the structure of neutron. It's called. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I got that coming up. It's up now on the live stream, but it'll take a few seconds to come through as usual. Okay.
So basically on this one, what I've tried to do is also to show the same division, but in a slightly different way, which, as you can see on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, also on the bottom, you can see those division from the center. For example, if you look on the bottom, you see the same division from the center going out on the bottom of the picture. But on the left-hand side, you can see that division coming from the top, coming in. So the green area, this would be your what you can imagine as your equator, and the north pole and south pole. So the north pole and south pole, basically these are your gravitational gravitational area, let's say. And I've put together those division from one. When the division are happening on these cells, we have seen them. There are 8, but in it you have 15 equal parts of these divisions. So if you chart them as the way I've charted them, it is possible to imagine, for example, where you'd find specific magnetic and gravitational fields. What this structure can help us is basically we can generate up to 225 different values out of it, and we could use this as a map. Let's say we can, if you have even normal reactor, and you have, let's say, achieved a plasma condition, a free plasma condition, you may be able to go to different parts of your reactor, of your free plasma, and be able to figure out what kind of material you'll be getting. So if you are on the equator area, you can assume this would be, let's say, it could be, let's say, helium. If you go in on the a little bit upper level, you could imagine this could be maybe carbon. Or if you go to the top of the center, that could be carbon. If you go slightly lower. So basically what this picture allows you to do, or this graphic allows you to do, is like a map, which basically can help you to find where you'd find specific magnetic and gravitational field equal to the elements or the material that you're looking for. And this could also be used as a mapping tool. So, or a navigation tool. You could navigate, let's say, this planet also using the same understanding, because you are able now to navigate, let's say, on a plasma scale. But everything in the universe is a plasma. So if you can navigate, on a small scale, you can also use the same principle to navigate on this planet. You can use the same principle to navigate on the solar system. You can use the same principle to navigate on the universe. And you just have to decide where you want to be, what field you have to create to be there, and you are there.
It could
So another way of using.
sorry, I don't mean to interject, but I'd like to just state that it could also be the detector, three-dimensional detector grid, perhaps, that instead of
Yes.
using the grid we normally think of as X, Y, Z, it would be more of these type of coordinates would be more important. Those would be the node, where the node points would be to be able to take readings and so on. Take note, JF. Okay, carry on. Good.
But Nicholas, that brings me to another point. With what you were showing us, it also is determine the octaves for sound. So that would also determine a frequency point. Do you see that as well? With this, you can be able to map which octave is where, like a sound or a frequency at this point on the map.
Well, if out of this structure, you can generate up to 225 values, but these will be magnetic and gravitational field values. So if we assume, or if we take sound as a magnetic and gravitational field entity, then we could be able to do that as well. So if we design or we create a magnetic and gravitational field detecting device, we could be able to detect it, whether it's a sound or whether it's it can be anything, basically, because in the universe, nothing is made out. Everything's made out of gravitational and magnetic fields, and this is
right. A sound would
this is
just
a
be a
common
different
this is a common
translation.
denominator. I mean, it's a common denominator. So if we use magnetic field and gravitational field as a common denominator, then if we use the same principle on our detection device, then we could detect almost anything. I would imagine.
Okay, so I'll flip it the other way. Instead of using the chart to determine what sound would be coming from it as a detection, how about using the chart to determine which sound to introduce to change the structure?
I think
I'm just using it as an example to be able to take an outside environment and to be able to change the inside of another environment. So as we heard with the different levels of these environments, if we change one, we can change them all.
And this chart might even give the angle of attack that the sound has to interact with, or whatever type of
well, that's
sound,
that's the whole process of levitating with sound at the moment, is it not? Is the interaction of sound waves at particular points in space, which will create that levitation. So they're using the sound as the interaction to be able to levitate that object or whatever. But we can use the same type of interaction.
I wonder if this map could be used by those people that try to do that experiment, and this might give a more exact way for them to proceed, actually. Interesting. Okay, carry on.
Maybe.
So yeah, I just wanted to make the correlation of inside or detection and also on the outside in being able to influence.
Something very interesting, maybe to look at a couple of points while we have this picture, is if you look into the yellow area in the center line between N and N, you see originally we started with the circular spheres in the original number 4 and the rest. And in the field plasmatic condition, if you look at this picture, we have managed to create straight line fields. These straight line fields are paramount in the work of the universe. In the atomic structure, when you get a specific plasmatic condition fields, we call it crystal lattice structure or diamond structure. And that's how, through fields, for the first time, you can see how lines are created. Very much the way I explained in the teaching of the health section about the skin of the man. When you put 3 and plus layers of the plasma of different strength superimposed on top of each other, you create straight line force of plasmatic magnetic gravitational fields. Even though they behave as a ray, which gives the boundary of the structure, they are still possessing both gravitational and magnetic field. This is why sometimes the light manifests itself as a ray to us. It looks as a ray, but it's still a plasma. And sometimes it manifests itself as a particle. And that has been the mystery for the world of physics. For the first time in this picture, you can see that the structure in a spherical condition, when you put a number of fields on top of each other, in a spherical shape, the total field from the overview from the top changes than on each layer. And that's what you get even as we see now the structure of the skin. Because the layer of the body of the man, the skin of the man, has 3 layers identified, but each layer carries different GANs of different matters. So each layer is 200-300 different plasmatic magnetic fields, superimpose, creating a new layer condition in respect to the other, and then to the top layer, what we see as the skin of the man, will be absorbed as a physicality skin of the man. And in the solar system, the same division, what we see here in what Nicholas has shown us, gives the creation of different field forces that even each layer not necessarily works clockwise or anti-clockwise, and some spin in different axes, that they create the gravitational magnetic field of the solar system. So now with this picture, something which we've been explaining in how you get a straight plasmatic magnetic field, you see it. But you have to realize from this, you see this shape, which Nicholas has shown us with 250 plus possibilities. This is 250 plus possibilities on one strength source. Now you put another strength source behind it or in interaction with it. Now the combination goes into billions. And this is the essence of creation. This is why you get different materials in different part of the universe and not in the others. This is why you can create uranium on this planet but not nowhere else till you find a parallel position. This picture, which is shown by Nicholas, it has a huge implication application. Being, for example, if you want to go from the position 12 to another position 12 on the other side, you do not need to go to the squares. You can use plasmatic magnetic field to go down a straight line from one point of the universe to the side without ever spending any energy, by tuning to the magnetic field from the 12 to 13 on the other side, and vice versa. This is what some people like to call the, the tunnels. But in fact, you tune to gravitational magnetic field on the boundary at the same strength.
You mean
So,
wormholes? Is that what you're speaking of, Mr.
I don't
Keshe?
call them wormholes.
Right.
Wormholes don't exist. We are not worms, we are beings, so we find channels.
Channels? Is that, what is a good word for that?
Doorway.
It's a channel, it's a
Okay.
pathways. It's a
Right.
Even the teaching of God goes through the same pathway according to the understanding. So when spoken in one word, is heard by the rest of the creation in the same word simultaneously. That's why they say the love of God touches every entity in the universe at the same time. This is what you understand. So if you can understand how you can connect 12 to 13 and 12 to 12, you do not need to burn any fuel to go around the bend. You just go into the channels. These channels are understood by some physicists, but they do not understand how it works because they don't understand the work of the plasma. If you superimpose a number of these layers on top of each other, you create a different strength hardness in gravitational magnetic field. This is why I explained in the teachings of the past why we put sub-satellite systems on the boundary of the craft, the spacecraft. Because you create with them the same combination, multiple layering through this principle. And you dictate how hard that will be. Invisible or visible. Detectable, not detectable. You don't change the operation of your center core reactor, star formation. You change the strength of the boundary so you clear transparency or not. In the coming time, man will see that what you call UFOs are not what you see in the sky. They sit right on top of you if they wish and you never see them. Because they create that transparent vision to you is normal. I was explaining this to Marco and Armand some times ago. Stars, even though they show themselves as a star. These are station points that in time man will see when we say the whole sky will. The point of interaction is the point. So the way Nicholas is explaining this is the most beautiful. I don't think I could ever explain it so beautifully. We have to understand how these things interact and how now if you put another hexagon structure like this as we see it from the top under the other one, which level of the creation would you like to enter? What material would you like to create that has been invisible to you and exists across the universe? As Nicholas said, now you can dictate not only the position, but the matter production. And this is what I explained in our teachings. You use the boundary reactors to decide what material you want to create all the time in that section. Plasmatic magnetic gravitational field strength decides, has shown us, what material at what point you want to create, or where you want to be, or where you want to be visible. If you understand this structure, if you understand the teaching of the skin, which we talked with last Tuesday, and if you can create a field strength, which is very easy to do, you can make yourself visible and invisible any point in the universe or in front of the people. The real magic show starts. So, put it this way, it's the most beautiful way to do, because you do not know if talking about what is in front of you or not is listening or not, even though you can't see him. That corrects behavior, man, thou shall not do wrong.
Mr. Keshe? Mr. Keshe?
Carry on. Yes?
Sorry, you're just
Can you
breaking
hear
up. Can you just find a different position for your internet connection? Just to see if it's that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sometimes it's just breaking out, so
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that you're aware.
Maybe gods don't want you to hear what I'm saying, because then you become too clever.
Oh, they always want us to hear. You know that.
Yeah, and God wants you to adjust your microphone a little bit too, just a bit
Thank
further
you,
away.
God.
It'd be great.
Yeah. So
Thank
you
you.
have
Continue.
to. Yeah. So you have to understand what you can create and what you can make visible. This is part of what you call teleport transportation. If you understand the structure, how you can make matters in one point visible, then create a condition for them to have a different environmental packaging and will not be affected by anything else in the time of the transition to another point. You can manifest yourself from 12 to 14 to 13 without losing any energy, and you'll be manifested in totality, not bits of your arm and legs missing. If you understand the
And of
picture,
course,
which
not down a Wi-Fi line.
the line will be very interesting very soon. We'll put them in museums. But at the moment, this is the level of our understanding. This is in the hand of people, which I see a lot of work to be done through Mr. Hoy, because he's on the path of different way than a lot of you, and he sees it in different way, in the Chinese way, in yin and yang, and he will open a lot of doors for us in the future. Because from the point of the understanding of the structure and the soul which he carries it. Carry on, Nicholas. Sorry about that.
Thank you. So basically, I think this is the simplest way I could have imagined of how we can envision and think of how to not just make the materials which we need, but also to navigate within our planet, within our solar system, and even within the universe. Based on this idea as well, I've thought if we use the same principle, Nick, can you jump to the next picture, which is about the reactor core walls?
Just a minute here. I have to bring that up. Kind of got a little bit lost here. Okay, reactor pressure points or reactor pressure walls. Is that what you mean?
Walls, pressure walls.
Okay. And let me rotate that picture. Reduce it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Thank
Just
you.
getting it zeroed in there now.
Thank you very much. So here again, we can try to imagine the structure of a reactor following almost the same principle. And we have the equatorial area, as you can see, and we have the north and south poles. My imagination is that using this principle is possible now when you run your reactor, which has these features in it, then you could be more certain on the location where you can extract specific fields. And I could imagine this kind of feature within the reactor might, to some extent, help or facilitate the concentration of those fields within these areas as well. So it could be attempted. I am planning to try this, and if someone would like to try it as well, you're more than welcome to give it a shot. But I would like to see what kind of performance we would get out of a reactor which has these features within it. But maybe Mr. Keshe could add additional information here if he sees this could be an ideal.
Now this is the same design as the pictures of the 3D printed reactor. Is that? True, basically.
Not exactly, because within that I have missed. I was not able, because I was not able to make it exactly to have these features. I tried, but they're not exactly in the same way. They're not exactly in the same way.
I know
So
someone would love to do this video. It's called Armin. He loves 3D the printers and producing these kind of systems.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that will be it. And actually the next, which is reactor core points, or the pressure points, if you can put that up.
Okay, we got that up now.
Yeah. So if we can imagining of putting these two features within that core, the pressure walls on the previous picture basically will concentrate those plasma within specific area of that core. Now, when we add additional feature like these pressure point, low and high pressure points, again based on the same principle of magnetic and gravitational field of the division of the plasma. I have imagined that each of the three pressure points, the high one, the one which are inside, would create a relationship, as you can see on this picture, and another three will do the same. So as the reactor is rotating, you would have star formation, double star formation effect on the material itself. That's one point of looking at it. And at the same time, the low pressure points together with high pressure point would create something like an heartbeat or a pulsating effect, because with every rotation, the material is being concentrated toward the center. And by the time these material get to the center and try to come back out, they come across another pressure coming from the outside inward. So you would most likely to see something like a pulsating effect, which could be coming out of this. So if you put the pressure walls features together with the pressure points together within that reactor, I could imagine, I don't know, what I can imagine is something which might be interesting to try. And this is what I would like to try with this, with the handmade one. Actually, that one was the reactor picture which I have on my hand. That small core, I made it by hand using some small hand tools. It was not 3D printed, because with 3D printer, then
okay. I see.
yeah, with 3D printer, I would be able for sure to make exactly this feature, to incorporate this feature exactly the way I want them.
So all you need is to get your design into a computer program, which should be relatively easy because it's all mathematics to start with. And
Yeah, but
have
Can I ask you
someone
something,
like JS
Nicholas?
print it out.
yes,
Where do you live?
I live in Czech Republic.
I invite you to the center to come and teach us.
Okay.
You're not very far. I think the knowledge you carry and the understanding of what you understood and how you can explain it. We need teachers like you who can explain this in the knowledge of the simple language the way you're doing. I welcome you to be one of our teachers, to guide us. And the way you have understood it, and you have moved from theoretical to making things that you can explain your understanding, it's a major break from the scientific point of view in adding to knowledge. So please get in touch with me directly, Rick, or Vince will give you my direct email. And we arrange for you to come maybe a week, 2 weeks to teach us in depth. And at the same time, it'll be recorded. We pay for all the expenses from the foundation for your travel and for your stay. And we teach you for your teaching time. Because this knowledge, the way you have approached it, is fundamental to be understood from the beginning of the teaching, that they can understand the relationship. I'm not so good in explaining things like this, but with your knowledge and your understanding, or other people who can expand on this, come and join us to teach in depth, in a correct scientific way, the way you've done it. Please contact me later on, and if you can collaborate with the university team to build up a structure of the presentation, you're quite welcome in the second, third week of the teaching after 4th of May to come and explain this in detail to us, and it'll be broadcast live that everybody can understand. And I thank you for sharing your knowledge this way with us.
Thank you. It's a privilege to me as well.
We're all here to serve. Explain to me how you have managed to come with a cutting of this material.
I went to IKEA a couple months ago, and I found they were selling these things which you'd put on the end of your curtain, on the window you have curtains, and on the curtains they put some sphere things at the end of it. And I found they were selling these things which are plastic made. And I took a couple of them home and I hit them on the floor, and they open up in the center. And right, if you look through, it's just like it was like straightforward hole. So if you could imagine right at the center of it, it was just almost like a not perfect sphere, but straight hole through it. So all I did is I went to a tool shop where I bought two kind of a drill with a different grinding heads, and I marked areas on the core, outside of the core, where I would like to have the points or the grilling points, and I just run this drill with a grinding head, and just go slowly at each point where I wanted to have the groove, where I wanted to have the cavity. Now I had about three different grinding heads, or let's say this how they call them. It's like what you'd use to sand, if you want to sandpaper something. They sell small.
Yeah, I think it's a Dremel.
Yeah, Dremel, yeah. So you can buy these with the different shapes. So I had maybe 2 or 3 of them with the different sizes. And I started with a small one to be able to make the central part of it, and going slowly on each 6 points on the outside. And then I use another size to drill the outer part of it. And the last one, I just did the touching on the bottom because the edges were quite sharp. And I wanted to have a little bit, like, not so much sharp parts on the bottom of it. So
I can appreciate the time that you took to do this, Nicholas.
It was fun. So I got it to this point, and now these are I'm trying to nano-coat them to see if I can get some kind of layering inside them before I can actually try to test them. So I'll put some information on the hand tools that I've used to do this, and everybody would be able to get them from any hardware shops.
I think the best option is to have a drawing made up that can be printed, think that would probably be the best option, because they should be able to be printed fairly easily, or CNC'd out of another stock piece.
I think printing them is quite good because you can actually do exactly the way you wanted them to be. This was more like what I could find easily to be able to work with, and also to be able to test the principle to see what will be the performance, like what will be the what will be the outcome out of this one, and from this we
Are you
can be
looking to
able
put GANs in it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we should. Okay, I'm just trying to relate it to what I see in my reactors. So probably what everybody else sees as well is when they do the layering of the different types of GANs, you see it going up further from the equator. So from what I see here, that should layer themselves in their own areas, as in the picture that we see. The heavier will be in the bigger spots, the lighter will be in the next shelf, and the lighter still should be in the next shelf. You see that as well?
That's what we would expect, based on the material themselves. As you mentioned, the lighter one would be in the central area, and the heavier material will be on the outer area. However, what this would help us as well to do is that to be able to create this pressure. So if we have the internal or the internal structure of the core nano-coated, this is how we would create those specific magnetic and gravitational field pressures. So this is how we can almost like massage the material inside to behave in a specific way. We can still do the same even without having this feature within the core. But if we can implement these features as well, then it give us some kind of more, let's say, awareness of where we are heading.
Well,
Control
Rick, can you go back to that other picture? Can you go back to the other picture, but with the high pressure and the low pressure for a second?
Pressure, low pressure. The not with the reactor, but with the structure, you mean?
The diamond shape?
It showed where they had the center was spinning. It was just a diagram with the higher pressure on the inside and lower pressure on the outside with the curve. It looked like the flower inside of the sphere.
The flower one.
Nicholas, can you direct them?
I mean, the first.
Yes, I think it's referring to the pressure point one.
Pressure point, yes.
Okay, pressure on walls. Pressure reactor pressure points. Okay, got it. Okay, I've got that up now. Take a little bit to come through there.
Okay, just a moment. I'll wait for it, then I can describe it to everybody. So this is what I see here. From the rotation of the reactor in this type of formation, I see you would have multiple star formations inside of this type of reactor. So the center point would still be the free plasma, but you would have a full star formation right inside of this one reactor. Depending on the petals, let's call it, of the flower, you could influence the plasma that's radiating out, the fields that are radiating out in different ways. So the interactions of these reactors would be more like the Earth and the Sun, or the Sun itself. Can you see that, Mr. Keshe? Like there would be separate reactors inside of each petal, for example, in a virtual type of way.
Strange enough, you're talking about this. As you know, our Chinese friends have sent us a bunch of beautiful, some 20 copper reactors that are about 1 centimeter in diameter. And yesterday, I gave these to Marco and Armin in the lab. And I explained to them exactly what you have touched just now. And that is, if you could, in your star formation now, you use matter entity plasma in your reactors to create a free plasma. Now, with what we received from our Chinese colleague, and if you can send us some more, we appreciate it much more because we can play different games with it. And please this time send it to the right address. You sent it to the wrong address, but somehow it's God's wish we received it. But please check your address with us before you send any more things to us because you used the wrong address. So what happened? Now we create one star formation, which in the center creates a free plasma from the energy, this again going plasmatic gravitational magnetic field, energy of a free plasma. Now, what I asked Armin and Marco, if we can achieve it, is to create 3 base free plasmas and 1 base free plasma on the top, that the interaction of these 4 plasmas leads to creation of what I call the master plasma. 4 star formation, creating the essence of the creation in the center. And then I explained to them is the time when you can reach the soul of the man through the emotional part. Because the matter in the cores, which release their fields to create the first free plasma, are the essence of physicality with the emotion. Because it's non-tangible. And now when the emotions in totality create a non-dimensional, you reach the essence of the soul or creation in the emotional level. Then you can communicate in the level that nobody can steal, nobody can lie. If we manage to put this together by the opening of the Institute on 21st, you shall see it. So, what you explained, how you created this wall, and you can see the 4 star formation, is already on the table for us in the lab, and thanks to our Chinese colleagues who sent us these absolutely beautiful reactors. We try to show it next time. The only thing is you send us, but we don't have a motor. Now we have to find a motor to fit the hole you put on your reactor. If you can let us have miniature reactors to fit the holes you made, it'll make life easier for us. So, what is interesting here is the way Nicholas touches on the word pressure wall, but he doesn't explain to us how you create these pressure walls. How do you plan to create these pressure walls? In the 4 star formation plasma, we know we created with the plasmas, and they are dynamic. The other step for us is not only rotating the 4 miniature reactors to create a free plasma, is to rotate the whole 4 structure together at the same time too. So rotation within the rotation is our next challenge. But how do you plan, if you can explain to us, you touched on it, how do you plan to create these plasma walls, pressure walls? I know a simple way to do it, but how do you see it?
The way I see it is based on I could use the reactor interior construction itself.
How?
So if you can, Rick, if you can put back the pressure wall picture. So by having this section within the core, which have got different length, and assuming these parts are also nano-coated, then they would create specific. These would, yes, yeah, that's the one. So if you can look on the bottom of this picture, I've made points to several 4 positions, and I call them pressure walls. So each one of these parts is what I'm thinking as being a pressure wall. So if these parts are nano-coated, then we essentially create specific environment between each of these sections. So the fields which are created as well within the core would be in the same manner as well. And this is what I mean by pressure wall.
I'd like to just add at
If
this
you-
point, if they weren't just if they weren't steps that were 90 degrees, but instead had an angle to them, you would actually enclose those parts of GANs in a certain almost ring that would trap the heavier parts of that type of GANs in that ring, and the faster the sphere rotated, the more it would just keep it in that particular spot. Sort of by the angle of the step, you could fine-tune the apparatus to hang on to that GANs while it was rotating, rather than having it slip over the edge.
But I have something else to add, though, too.
Sorry,
Sorry.
before you do, could you bring Armand in? Let's see what his opinion, because he's good in these things. If he's on, I know he's somewhere. I've seen him. Carry on, Wins. Carry on.
I was going to add that if you use the dimensions that you use here, would you not keep this plasma in balance? So to unbalance it is to be able to move those pressure walls.
Once you have created these features within the core, then in terms of physical structure of the core, then you're limited. But now you are able only to play with the plasma or the plasma which is within the core, or if you have several of them, then with the free plasma. In that
Right, but
case,
I'm saying if you have multiple cores, you can dictate the pressure that is going to be applied, or the gradient that will be applied, by changing the structure of the internal structure of that one core. So now you'll have a different structure in a different core, which should create that difference in pressure, because you're not in that same balance condition anymore.
Can I? Elia touched on this in the last teaching about the skin. In part of the shapes within the shape of the different layers of the skin. Maybe we could ask her to come in, and maybe she can enlighten us how she sees that it can be done, because she sees.
I think she's already here.
Okay, let's bring Armin and her together on and see how we can, because Nicholas is on the 100% correct path. It's just adding in knowledge collectively, or we have other scientists on the line who want to come in to explain. There's not what they call it. We're not looking for aliens and others. We're looking at the structure of how it's done physically, that we can now go in a positive way. If we can add those or any other scientists who want to add to our knowledge, bring them in and let's expand on this, because Nicholas is chairing the talk today. But we have to go in a way we understand the principle. Now we got to the point of practicality. He's an engineer, he understands. You don't need to have a certificate to be an engineer. If you can translate your thoughts into physical structure, you're an engineer. You engineered something. And with the cups you made, it shows you have that talent. But let us see from the other knowledges how we can bring this into reality in a very easy way. Armin.
Can we get somebody to match Armin?
Go, carry on, Nicholas.
Yes, if I can add, I've seen a lot of parallel with regards to pressure points and pressure walls in Dr. Elia's health teaching. They are everywhere in the human body. I mean, there is no part in the human structure where you don't find these things. They are there if you're looking for them. Everywhere, in every, almost in every session, they are there. So for sure,
Congratulations. You
sorry?
understood I said congratulations. You understood what I've been looking at, what she's been teaching. And
I
as I
have
said,
been following it.
yeah, so it's the conditions which are created by different layers, which leads to performance or the manifestation of different structures. So I think we can bring Armin and Dr. Elia online, that we can bring your knowledge with their knowledge together, that we can physically build something which replicates the skin of the man or position of the skin of the man. Then I'll explain to you what's happening later on.
Strangely enough, you mentioned the reactors and skin of the man. The picture that was sent has him holding the reactor, and of course we see the skin of his thumb and so on. Very much a reminder of the last health workshop, which was on the skin and so on as you mentioned. But you can see the obvious wrinkling and the layering of the skin. The thumbprint is even there, and the fingernail, which is another whole thing in itself, a different layer sitting right there. The fingernail would be a classic example. It's a whole different layer sitting there right in the middle of this fleshy skin flexible part. All of a sudden we have a hard part and so on. So the same picture is showing exactly what you're speaking of. It just occurred to me.
Yeah, but what will be interesting, look at the straight lines on his skin. How a straight line plasmatic fields has been created in a sequential way to allow flexibility of the field transfer. He has a beautiful
Yes.
he
Let,
has a beautiful thumb.
I'll focus on the one part that Elia also focused on yesterday in the health workshop, the diamond structure. I'm just noticing it now in the lower part of the thumb. I'll make it like super big, and it should show up here just shortly on the live stream. And I've just really noticed this. The diamond structure is totally there.
That was not intentional.
Yes,
You
well,
see,
everything is constructed that way, so it is intentional in a way, right?
Well,
you see the shape and the size of the skin, the cell on the skin, dictates the flexibility of the field flow. And the lines you see, which go straight down, it shows very much the emotional structure of the physicality. In so many ways, when you look at the structure of the hand, you know the emotion. The stress lines, how you feel. When I looked at this finger, I knew what I have on my hand on the screen. So when you read knowledge in a different way, you with this structure, you look at if you open the picture up to the top of the thumb, these kind of in position shape of thumb flat is sincerity of. Are you from the African origin? I presume yes. Nicholas.
yes, I am.
Yeah, you see this kind of fingerprint or structure of the thumb with Africans. It's very much straightforwardness in the thoughts and the soul. The structure of the thumb in that way is the sincerity of giving and not holding. In people, when I looked at your thumb holding the cup, it shows how you psychologically think and work. The thumb plasmatic magnetic field of your brain is a giver and sharer. So it points outward, you don't hold in. And it gives a lot of indication how you, with a flat thumb, and the way you hold the cup, it gives a lot of insight in your emotional and physical part relationship. And that's why you can speak and explain sincerely what you have achieved and what you do. You look at different things, I look at different things when you show me things. And your thumb, shape of your thumb gave me a lot of information about how you psychologically operate. And this is African, what I call, not African, but the black skin, because you still down inside are not materialistic. Sense of survival to share is part of the culture. And you carry it in your thumb because it's the thumb who releases the last point of releasing something to another life to survive when you feed someone. The shape has changed into European, if you look at the European thumbs, and the structure is different. And this is a beautiful structure, I see. Thank you very much for giving us that picture. I knew what I have, what we're going to receive from you, but just looking at that cup at the beginning. So your emotion in physicality is dictated by your physical, is shown by your physical structure. And in more detail, I'll explain these things to you later on. Okay, let's go to Dr. Elia and Arman. Arman, how do you see we can produce pressure points on the cups? Is he asleep or is it American time?
Are you there, Armin? We had a heck of a time tuning in here. You're probably busy too, but we need you now, Armin. It's the mute button.
No, he's snoring, I think.
He says yes, okay. I think he's trying desperately to get his microphone working or something like that.
Can we go to Dr. Elliot to explain this?
Armin has to restart, so he'll be a couple of minutes. And Elia says, yeah.
Okay, bring your in, please.
Okay, Elia, go ahead.
Yeah, hello guys, I'm here, yes. So my point of view, if you remember, even we spoke during the yours workshop, Rick, about the skin and the penetration of the plasma inside of the skin. So the skin acts like a membrane. If you remember that diagram what I show you of one scientific research. So my point of view is that when something reach a skin, starts to react like a membrane, because it's actually the membrane, three main layers. And my point of view, I will start like little further just to explain myself. So each GANS material or state of matter have the basic AC and DC current inside like a nucleus. And when two plasmas just starts to interact, they start to release the free part of the AC, what they have. So actually we have interaction with the base 1 AC-DC with other one base 2 AC-DC. In the gap between them, because actually that's why the gapping and positioning between two plasmas is so important, because in that gap we get interaction between the free AC1 and free AC2. And when that's happen, it's becoming like a constant release of the AC, common one. This is like a constant, it's like a Planck constant you have. On the same way, each GANS supposed to be a constant of releasing of that AC when interact with other plasma. So my understanding is that when something reach the skin, these two plasmas, they start to interact. For example, if CO2 GANs reach the skin, we already have the diamond carbon structure of the upper layer of the skin. Actually, we have interaction between two similar plasmas, one and second. And because they are so similar, if you make in your mind the picture of the principal matter and how the principal matter just unfold to the transitional and then to the outer core. So you lose the strength when you go out actually the principal matter, this is the condensed nucleus of each GANs. And when you go to the periphery, you lose the strength. And because of you losing the strength, you lose the energy. That part of the matter starts to be more flexible and able to interact with other part of other plasma. And when you interact, for example, CO2 with the skin, so we have the similar ganses actually, and that's mean that that similarity gives you the shortest way of interaction, because similar attracts similar, and the speed of reaction is more fast than the two different so far away plasmas of similarity. Okay, so the skin interact with GANs CO2, and actually the that interaction, interaction between AC1 and AC2 will give you the, how to explain you, so less deepness, what I spoke about the skin effect, what give you the deepness of interaction of, of one plasma inside of other one, because they are so similar and the speed is so fast, so they interact immediately, and that CO2 gas don't go inside deep. So actually on the same way, our skin interact with air, all the fields around. So with the upper layer, our skin carbon structure, we interact with all the fields where they contain the carbon structure, mostly in the high speed. And that our skin have for the carbon like a constant for interaction, and give you the speed, the deepness, the length, everything what the Nicholas explained before that. And after that, the next layer is the derma. The derma, how I told you, this is the transitional matter. And actually for us, transitional matter is like something what interact and retransmit information, like a retranslator. Or for us, this is the copper oxide. So actually the copper oxide is supposed to have the more diluted strength. If the CO2 GANs have the free AC like 10 in minus 5, so for the copper GANs to go deep inside and interact with derma, supposed to be 10 in minus 20, for example. So have to be more dilute, more less strength to go more deep. Is like a sharper needle, go more deep in the tissue. On the same way, just imagine the skin again react with the air. So in the derma will go all the fields where they have that constant of interaction, like a minus 10 on, like a 10 in minus 15, and then goes the hypoderma and so on. Actually, all the tissue inside of our body, they have that GANS constant of interactions between other plasmas. That is my understanding. And actually, you achieve that when you position to the plasmas between them, and you get that interaction in the distance between them, in the gap. Is the same in the video with 2x, how Mr. Keshe explained before that. And because of that, we have a positioning. And actually, the flower of life is the golden ratio, Fibonacci consequence, and how you saw on the chapter, how Nicholas told you, the minus, all the numbers with minus, this is the normal Fibonacci consequence. Everything which is the plus is the opposite Fibonacci consequence. And actually, what that give you two opposite direction, the Magra fields, what you get in the eddy effect when one AC touch skin organize eddy effect around. This is your Fibonacci minus and Fibonacci plus, and because of that you have 1, 3, 5, 7, and in other side you have actually the gaps 2, 4, 8, and so on. And because of that of of 1, then you get 2, and of 4 you get again 3. It is so simple, when you follow the consequence. And actually about the skin, that is my understanding, that we supposed to use that ancient knowledge and to find out that the constant of each plasma for interaction between other two. because there will be not so huge amount of the constant and the interactions, and then we are able to find out the potential value between the interaction. With that potential value, we're able to calculate all the interactions go on. Okay, that is
Can
my
I
understanding.
can I ask you a question, or can I try
Yes,
to
sir.
bring something in the point? In the skin, the structure of the skin, and all the structures which we have seen in the health section,
Yes,
we
sir.
always seen spherical core shapes.
Yeah, because we need to hold the DC inside.
No, in a way, what I explained is that each core, the shape of the structure in a given position, is a different layer strength plasmatic magnetic fields.
Yeah.
That's why the whole structure of the man, every cell, has a spherical shaped core in it. Because
Yes.
whenever we have these spherical shaped cores in the structure of the body, we create a given specific balance magnetic gravitational field in respect to above and below.
Yeah.
So this is what in your teaching of last week, when you showed that the second layer and the third layer, or the inner layer and the outer layer, we see regularly layer of spherical cores along the skin in different shapes. And these are the separation point between the lower strength and the higher strength, be it in gravitational or magnetical.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's how we extract energy, or we release energy to the higher level or lower, or we ask from the environment for what we need.
Yes.
And this
Like that.
is what, carry on.
Yeah, yeah, I'm completely agree. Just I wanted to make more, in technical language, just to guide to understand, because for me, like, I know the anatomy is more easy to understanding and calculate in my mind, but I just try to use them terms, just to be more easy for them to understand and to find out the way to measure that kind of things. So I'm
Do
completely
we,
agree.
yeah, do we have any plasma scientists online that we can bring them on to explain to us? Because I know a number of them listen. If any of them is live online, you can join us or join next session to explain in present current understanding of the plasma, how they see a plasma flow in these kind of interactions. Is Arman online? Have you managed to get him back on?
We have Armin, but he's a mute Armin right now, apparently.
Give him a kick, he'll shout.
Yeah, that might work. Maybe we need to kick him out and re-invite him back in. Yeah,
Yes,
and
please do that, Rick.
and your microphone needs adjustment, Mr. Keshe. It's popping quite
And this is
badly. It's hard to
also
listen to.
This is also so easy visible on the needles experiment what we make with arm, and actually the plasmas and interactions, and how it's make the atmosphere like a rainbow. So
Well, we
we
could
can
have a look at that if you like.
no, it's
And
no
Can
problem. I
we,
mean,
can we go through this part with Nicholas to finish it? I think
okay,
that session needs, what they've done needs a total part of the health section. Because we can do this part of the beginning of the nurse health section, because we did the skin. Now they want to speak about acupuncture. It brings the two together. If you can make a session for the beginning of next health section, Dr. Elia and Armand together.
okay.
it's no problem. But actually, it's not acupuncture, and this is the reflection of light of nanomaterials.
Yeah, I know, but it
Yeah.
goes to what you do with the skin, then it follows the teaching of the last week or this week.
Okay.
Okay, carry on.
Okay.
Is
Sounds good.
Armand back, or we still got him silent? Because we got to find out
Well,
how we can make these pressure walls for
I
Nicholas.
I think we're going to try to invite Armin to the go-to meetings. The way I understand, is that right,
Yes.
Vince? Great.
Yes, I'll try to work with him here. I
Cool.
can mute us and talk with him here if I need be. But we'll get him working. Armin, can you just click on that link I gave you and then drop out the Skype call when you're able to get into GoToMeeting, please.
I know where he is. There can be no problem with where he is with his Wi-Fi. I hope.
No, I think it's a Skype issue.
Just,
A Skype preference issue, I think.
That's what I was going to suggest. Otherwise, it could be in the, if he's on an Apple machine, to go to the Apple preferences and sound icon and check out the sound output.
Yes.
Or input. He did that. Okay.
Okay, try to go to GoToMeeting, Armin, please. It might work there.
if we can't get it going, can we carry on with Nicholas till Armin can come on and give us his...
Yes, can we do that, please?
Yeah, okay. Nicholas, carry
Armin, we can talk in the background.
Okay. Rick, can you pull up that picture of a static reactor? Because maybe we can use that to also maybe think a little bit about the pressure walls as well.
Just a second here.
What is your background, Nicholas?
IT, but I've done many things before that.
Okay, so let me rotate here.
Yep, that one.
And move that around. Okay, just a bit tighter. Okay, if we get all the writing in, it might be. Let me just get
another.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Another way that we could maybe envision these pressure walls is as these rings here. The idea here is we could have several nano-coated plates in spherical, as indicated on this graphic, and we could use these proportion, or we could use a different proportion, and we could do several things with this configuration. If we assume these, each one of these rings, what created the pressure walls, so we should be able to see different. You should be able to have different magnetic and gravitational field between each of the plates. So between the first, the outer one, and then the second, between the green and the blue, the balance will create a different gravitational and magnetic field. And then between the blue and the yellow also would have another different gravitational magnetic field. And the same way all the way up to the center. So if we fill this unit with salt water and all the plates are nano-coated, it's possible that we should be able to come up with either different material based on the different magnetic and gravitational field, or which is created by these plates, or we could have this different isotopes of the same element. So the next point is that I'm working on this one, and I should be able to have some results maybe in another couple of, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. But we could imagine these pressure walls being something like this. Now, if we have multiple cores, and we say use these, we say, let's say the number 1 point, that's where we have our free plasma. And let's say we use the we use the blue or the green as a point where we can position other cores to create effects of that wall. Then we could effectively bring back the field which are radiated from the center back inside. So our wall basically can be created in this kind of way. So we could have, I don't know, whether it could be a star formation, and we could have one wall, we could have another star formation within it or outside of it to create another wall, which basically bounce the field which are radiated by the cores inside out, and these are being balanced back into the center of the free plasma. So I don't know, that maybe someone else can add something into that as well.
Yeah, I may say that this is explanation the same what I wanted to say about the skin. This is like the penetration constant of the gans inside. So which one gans will be penetrate the first layer, the second layer, and the nucleus. This is the same.
And I was going to mention, it looks like the patent for the reactor for gases specifically.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
have
but this is
your injection tubes going in for different layers.
you just replace the name. Everything is one thing. You just exchange the
right.
name, skin, reactor, or whatever. We're supposed to find out the pattern, and the pattern is everything in everywhere in the nature.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
That's true.
Oh, I hear a ghost in the
Another
background.
thing that
Go ahead, keep going.
Come on,
I think Armin might have found his audio, found his voice finally.
I couldn't hear the half of the conversation, so in and out. So.
Oh,
Thanks God for
it's
that.
good. It's good, Armin. We can hear you now.
Why?
God saved us from a lot of headache. So okay.
Oh my God! I'm a headache.
No, from the headaches you would have caused one knowing you trying to explain something before we were ready. So explain how you're going to do it, Armin.
Always.
Okay, so didn't mean to cut Nicholas off in midstream there. Maybe we should just finish up, or should we?
To understand what you're talking, guys, then I fit in. How about that?
We were talking about the ice creams and Italian, what do you call it, sandwich. How would you make different layers to create different pressures in the cores?
You put different meat, salami, lettuce.
You have insulating layers in between.
You're layering it. It's a higher
what Nicholas is trying to do is create.
Huh?
Nicholas is trying to create different pressure walls in the same reactor. And it needs 3 different pressure layers or areas, or maybe multiple pressure areas. How do you create gravitational magnetic pressure walls, as is shown in this picture, in the other picture? And I know you know how to do it. Pardon?
Nano-coating it differently.
How? You are the genius in that. Tell us.
You can create different texture of nano-coating.
How would you do it in a specific area in the same core that we can all learn?
Specific core. Why you wanna create in the core?
Because that's his understanding. So we're trying to expand on his understanding, which is correct. So you are the nanotechnology man. How would you do it for us?
Maybe I
can you go back to the Rick? Can you go back to the picture of the pressure walls that he can see? I think he was still trying to get himself connected. He lost
the pressure walls with the points on them. Okay, just a minute.
Let's ask him if he's on live stream first and he can see the picture.
Yes, I am. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, well, first we have the picture of the reactor as seen before, the one held in the hand, the actual picture of the carved out reactor.
Yes, I can see that. So what you want to create? You want to create in matter structure, like different, not sphere inside. You just want to create
No, we
different.
want to create a nano layers, different nano layers in each, let's say, a sphere, the shape which you see in the cup.
And also,
And
see,
each,
if you
it's
look,
like a leaf of a tree. How can we have
right,
different nano
if you,
pressure, magnetic field on each wall without interfering with that other one?
and the idea came from this mathematical representation drawing with the high pressure point and low pressure point that I'll put up next on the live stream. And it does look like a leaf, like you were just saying.
Armand, switch off your live stream,
Yeah,
please.
I did. I'm confused a little bit. Because I didn't hear the whole conversation. That's why.
Rick, maybe you can use that pressure walls picture. It's much more easier.
You only need the sphere. You don't need this kind of carvings. You can nano-coat differently. If you showed the Rick, the nano-coating plate that I showed, I want to explain one thing, and I want to ask a question, Mr. Keshe, if you can explain differently of my understanding. Please, can you show that picture? The nano-coating piece that I had and shared with you guys. Hello?
We are listening, we are not ignoring you, but we don't see the picture yet.
I'm not sure where that is right now. I wasn't prepared for that right now, so I have to find
How would you make different nano pressure in the same container, Armand?
Different nano layers, different way of coating it. It will create
so
different.
How would you coat that cup that you create these pressure points in it? Don't forget, you can't fill it up and fill it down, because everything, if you do it with the filling position, everything gets affected at the same time.
Yes, if you can show the picture, Mr. Keshe, I want to ask one question to you, and then I will continue, and now I will answer your question.
Thank you very much, Master.
Armin, can you tell me where the picture was? I can't. Oh, I think I've got a link here now.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. I'll put it up on the live stream.
Second one works better, Rick.
Okay, I got dropped somewhere.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Vince. It's great having a support team on the Skype call here. All right, we have from your post on Facebook picture. And that should be up in the live stream just a few seconds here.
That's his famous salt paper.
Salt paper.
It's not paper. It's not paper, Mr.
Well, I had a vision that
I should call it.
Well, I had a vision that there was actually salt on crystals of salt, like actual little chunks, but it's not that at all. I'm presuming, but it is similar, very similar to what people do. Is they put salt in paint, and when you paint it on, it creates a grip for your feet, or you can use sand as well, but salt will work. And so you have a grippy surface by just sprinkling salt on and painting over it, or sprinkling the salt in the paint and using it. But this
was actually immersed, right?
Right, that's what I understand.
Let him explain to us
yes,
what he's done.
We have to know.
This is
yes,
invention.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Armin, can you explain? I don't see the picture on live stream yet, by the way. It's just me.
Can I just explain one thing? Milan Dolinar has touched it exactly spot on. Your answer is...
Well, I was going to say different layers or different materials that's layered inside while running that electricity, as in different materials. If this copper coating was put into salt, what if we had a potassium salt on the bottom and a mix of potassium and sodium salt in the middle and sodium salt on the top?
Okay.
it creates different conditions on those walls.
Let's see what let's let Armin describe
explain to us.
Armin's simple process, because it's always simple to start with, and then we'll get more complex as we have Vince do the post analysis and suggestions there. I think. Okay, does that sound fair?
Mr. Keshe, the pores that you see, when you watch it under the big loop, you can see that, it creates, this is very smooth texture of, copper sheet. But after nanocoat, after putting in a caustic, it creates this texture, and it's nano-coated, fully nano-coated, which I checked it by, very loop. So you can see, if you can magnify.
What do you mean by loop? What do you mean by loop?
It's like a. I have a small loop for looking diamonds.
Magnifying glass.
Let me explain to you. Armin has got a diamond or jewelry background, and if you work in that kind of world, we have a loop. We got a little glass. We look inside the diamond. We think we are very intelligent. So he's talking. When he speaks about the loop, it looks about the diamond glass. We call it.
It's good. Okay. It's magnified 100 times, so you can see that the texture is totally changed on the surface of the copper, and it's not smooth. And this is like inside the organs. It creates its all holes and gaps and everything, and it's very interesting. My question is, this is unique fingerprint. Each plate, it will be unique plasmatic magnetic fields, because its own texture that it creates. Is it right, Mr. Keshe?
Very, very, very much so. If you look at the structure, the gaps where you have, in so many ways, it depends, because you use a sheet which has been what we call rolled. These plates we buy are not poured. If you know terminology in material, when you pour a material, you get the natural homogeneous structure according, and you get the gradient in strength according to the distance from the wall and the rate of cooling.
We call it grain structure.
Structures, yeah. When you do, these are rolled to get the flat condition of the plate. When you roll a plate, you change some crystal structures, and that's why you see this pattern. Where you see the pattern is a crystal structure. I told you, coming from an engineering background, you understand a lot of these things very rapidly. And this rolling creates different lattice structure, the same as what Nicholas showed us, how you could get the straight lines. So wherever there is a weakness or a flaw, which in respect to the gravitational magnetic field, which the NCL, the salt you use to dip it in respect to current flow, where material were released, but it's like being melted, but not released to become a total nano underneath. So you have like these volcanic eruptions, as you see, like the dots and the spots on it. And
no, but I explain you. May I? When you put in a current and you put in a salt, it's not creating this kind of texture. It's smooth and homogeneous. But when you put in caustic and you do the old-fashioned way, nano coating, this creates.
Yes, this is exactly what I explained. The process creates different condition in lattice structure.
Yes.
The rolling you've done, you weaken it, and now when you put it on the heat, the places will come. But the top layer always goes through the processing of nano release.
Yes.
So it'll be interesting if you grind these black spots and see what's underneath of it.
Okay. I have this piece at home. I didn't bring it with me to do that. But I can create the same thing in a lab.
Amon, is this possible with the...
Carry on.
What is it?
Sorry, Amon, is this possible with the plastic reactor as well?
Yes.
tried it on copper. I really will do lots of tests and let you know.
Thanks.
It is possible because you can nano-coat any material. You understand the term of nano-coating. It means you can release the atomic structure to a plasmatic structure attached to the surface. So that's the explanation of it, if you want to do. Okay, now you've shown us this. Tell us what you're going to do for Nicholas.
So if you do this inside the core, so it will create its own like signature cores. It's and you cannot repeat the process same way to another core because it's going to be totally different texture inside.
So is it possible to do different section within the same core?
Definitely.
Okay.
How would you do it?
What do you mean different section? No, if you do this is going to be if you do
No,
one core.
listen, Arman, what he wants to do is he has a core. Let's cut it into 3 horizontal layers, and then cut it into 3 vertical layers. And the middle section on each sequence other wall, he wants to coat them with different nano strength. How would you do it? That's the question. Because he wants to create a magnetic gravitational field gradient between 2 walls. You know, it's like a propeller bent up. On one side, one blade, he wants different pressure. On the other blade, he wants different nano-coating pressure. On the next one, he wants off the first one. So in what he's trying to do is what they do in what we call levitation systems.
Okay.
Sequential magnetic gravitational field strength following each other, creating rotation and compression in the plasma. This is what the star system, this is what the, what do you call it, most of the solar systems do.
That's what came to mind with me when we look at the diagram on the live stream right now, is we know that the steps are of different masses. Each step has a different mass. So if that was, say, if it was a magnetic material, for example, then the stronger magnets would be toward the outside part of the flow. The weaker magnets would be in the center. That might be one way of regulating that arrangement. Or if it was an electrical force put on from outside, perhaps the voltages would change according to those steps. Certainly with high voltage it would. I don't know how it could be arranged with low voltage.
I think if you go back to the first pictures or the explanation which Nicholas did, if you understood the interaction creation of, let's say, 3 plus and 2 plus, then you already understood how to make a different gravitational pulse anyway. Or you can get the energy from the 3 plus to be added to 2 in a different environment that increases 2 bigger than 3, that it creates the motion itself. So it's 2 plus 3 and 3 on its own, or 2 plus 1 and 3 on its own. It's very simple to produce what it's looking for, but you have to do it.
In terms of, let me get one thought out while I have it here. In terms of simplicity and this 6-pointed flower that we see in the center and so on, I notice with things such as stirring paint or just rotating things in a liquid, you'll have 3 basic arms that come out that form with the vortex that's formed. And from that you can see other 3, you could see that 3 arrangement naturally forms. You can't stir a vortex without that kicking in. So maybe trying to create it through the shape of the reactor is useful, but also it'll be trying to form its own natural shape that way with its own natural pressure points, the way I'm seeing it now.
I think if you want to understand how to do it in a simple way,
Go for a few days on the international websites where they show gravitational field forces of the planet taken by satellites. These field forces continuously change according to the inner structure of the composition of the matter inside the inner core of the Earth, in the Caroline core, or the combination of the fields in the outer core. This is, if you want to understand how to create field force pressures, plasmatic pressure walls, look at the change of the polarity in the solar system, where suddenly you see a high increase in the what you call eruptions on the surface of the sun. You can create pulse field pressure walls using the plasma itself inside the core. You don't need necessarily to use or nano-coat different walls. This is part of the understanding which should be added to the knowledge. In a coming time, you will learn how to create segments with different pressure within the same plasma. If you want to understand how to do it, look at the total structure, why we get huge plasmatic magnetic field rotation and flows, which we can detect it externally as a gravitational field of the planet. Something which a lot of people will come to understand when we go in deeper space. We see solar flares coming from the surface of the sun. We have the same Earth flares which leaves the Earth due to interaction of the surface pressures, like the liquid water and the internal pressures within the structure of the gravitational field forces of the different, what you call, magnetical gravitational field pressures inside the core of the Earth. Half of the tectonic movement, the plate movement on Earth, is due to this effect, creating plasmatic pressure through the plasma itself. If you understood how 2 was changed to 3, it should be very easy to create these walls or condition of plasmatic pressure in different walls. All you need to do, don't go for coating. Create, as I explained, and I tried Dr. Elia to explain it, but somehow she could not go to it, was you create a different gravitational magnetic cavities behind the wall according to the pressure you want. You don't touch the wall. So what you do, you drill a hole where you create a vacuum condition in the back of the wall which absorbs. You fill one with CO2 and you fill one with gas of copper oxide. That's how you create your different pressure walls.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Can you explain that again, Mr. Keshe, please? Drilling a hole, sorry.
You can create cavities. That's why I asked Dr. Elia to come in, but she could not understand what I was asking for. That's why I explained in different layers of the skin, you have different cores that dictates the field strength according to lower and higher. Especially if you use three-dimensional printers, you can allow for these cavities to be created on the outer wall of the thing, of the wall of your core, and then you fill it up with the gas of the material you want. So you decide one pressure on one wall is gas, CO2 pressure, one is the copper oxide, one is CH3, and you create the rotational flow of the plasma without using any rotation of the motors. This is how you do. This is how you have to perfect the technique. Then at the same time, when you do in the northern hemisphere of your reactor than the southern hemisphere, you have to decide the amount of the gas in each one, that you create a flow according to the motion up or down or north to south or south to north, where you can inject one to another or increase or decrease. These are the things we'll come to. This is how you create plasmatic magnetic field pressure rotation without any motors. Nicholas, you're on a very fine track. You have understood. But as an engineer, as a
whatever, because you don't need a degree to be an engineer. You understand the translation. And if you take the dimension of the pressure in the right way, and if you use like a three-dimensional, what do you call it, 3D printers, then in a way to interact or interconnect in your design between different fields, then you can create a plasmatic rotation without any motors. This is how it's done in the universe.
Okay.
It's the first time I explained this, so it's important to understand. You dictate if you want a positron or you want a electron rotation. If you want a north to south, you want south to north. I do this very frequently in medical systems. When I use certain plasmas, in containing the plasmas with magnets, I dictate the direction of the flow. So I give from emotional part to the physical part the amount I need, and vice versa. So what you're looking for as a plasmatic pressure, that's why I brought Armand in, because you are still working in a matter state, you're in still a schizophrenic condition. You can do it very easily with the plasma, and the plasma, as you have the knowledge and you have now a cocktail of different plasmas, you create pressure wall not by nano-coating you internally, you create the pressure externally, so it's rapidly done. You can go create a wall pressure as a copper oxide pressure and then change it automatically with different feed to a CO2 or CH3. And you dictate the speed of the rotation of your plasma and then the speed of the change of your free plasma and the position in respect to the planet. You can't go in the reactor and change nano-coating or fix it. If you make a fixed wall, you have no control anymore. That's it. You become what we call levitation position. But if you understand how you create rotation, you don't necessarily need blades, but you can create within the outer boundary structure of your plasma different pressures. Now that you have taken our knowledge a step further, then you can see how you create rotation. This is how rotation is created in most of plasmatic structures like the sun, the earth, and everything else. And that's why I went back into originally with the 12 points. One has to always be out of balance. That's why you have a woman in the 12 disciples. You understand? Because one is equal to the other 11, which creates a disbalance in them in trying to achieve attraction. That's why in the core we introduce, you will see the only female. So you understand the position. It's the same structure in the universe. You do not go and physically change your panel. Now I have to go right and change the current, because once you create a nanomaterial structure with certain current, you're stuck with it. But when you create the external pressure behind, you can change the material, your pressure changes as you need, and you can change the direction of flow. You can do it internally in the wall, or you can use your external reactors to create that pressure at a given point in your internal reactor.
Okay. And if you create a cavity within the wall, that means these cavities now will not have direct connection with the central core itself.
It becomes like an electron, but you have to understand the behavior of it.
Okay.
It's very simple. You're still looking for that schizophrenic condition, and I try to change you into a straightforward thinking man with plasma.
Okay.
Yeah. So you look for solution in plasma, not in matter state plasma. And you have learned how to create plasma. Pardon?
Then you can introduce, let's say, different core to this star formation.
Good morning, Arman.
So that's how you make the pressure walls.
Yes.
Yeah. This is how you make it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Don't rush to the lab because it's not closed yet.
I already packed up.
today, if a lot of you have understand the Iranian culture, today is the 13th of a new year of Iranian calendar, and by rule we don't do anything because we say it brings bad luck. And today you brought us such a good luck to humanity. It's unbelievable. I got to change my opinion about the 13th.
But you never believed in that.
I'm most superstitious man on this planet about the 13th. But in a way, you brought humanity to point of disaster. What is good disaster? You have to understand what you have started. Try not to get carried away, but focus on understanding the structure as you've done up to now in plasmatic. And when you translate your knowledge into a plasma, into the matter state, understand even the plasma structure of the container you use. And then you can create pressures in a very simple way on rotation of the plasma.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We are nearly into 3.5 hours. I think what we're going to do, Nicholas, I think we need you back on. Try to expand on it. We give you more time next time, because
Sure.
you have just started the process of understanding of the plasma in a fundamental way. If we have other scientists who can bring figures and data in it without going into other theoretical bases of Da Vinci and the rest, in something which we can relate to the principle of the three-dimensional plasma, we can expand on the knowledge. What you started needs a few sessions of teaching, and the floor is yours because you have understood it. And now we try if we can bring plasma physicists or gravitational physicists online to expand and enlighten us with their knowledge, then we can go further.
Okay.
Mr. Keshe,
No, I'm
we
not
can do
coming to
this.
the lab today. Don't expect
No.
me.
We can do this easily with the Marcos star formation. It has six.
You can bring the reactors. Switch off your streamline. You can bring one of the reactors close to the other one and fill one with different. But the problem with him is a star formation. Two will be the same, so one will be pushing. You can bring the smaller one near to the back of the bigger one in the center and increase the plasmatic pressure. Fill one with the CO2, one with CH3, and one with copper oxide. That can be done. So we dictate the rotation of the free plasma.
And we create the life.
The light has been created, you've been blind to it. That's the problem.
Yes. That's the life I am talking when you can see.
Yeah.
There was also another possibility to work out some power cell also. If there's a time we can go through it, maybe.
Next week, come back next week and enlighten us. Try
Sure.
to keep the same understanding, because you understand it well, and the way you explain it is understood fully, I think, by every man. And
Okay.
It is there to be done. Just don't get carried away. Try to be what I call humble and an understanding of it, and then we come to the point of all of us gaining the knowledge from you as a teacher. And I thank you very much for bringing it at this point. Everybody comes on the plate at the right time, and you just arrive just the right time.
Everything is written, Mr. Keshe.
I always tell you, you think you're an accident, but you've been destined.
I was disappointed if I was an accident.
I don't mean as you, I mean humanity and us as totality.
Okay.
We have to be the right one for the right bird to eat the right time, that then we can become a food to something else. So even our death is pre-planned into be feeding the new cycle.
I hope so.
Thank you very much.
That's the nature of the universe.
Yeah. So we see you next week, if it's okay. Please do not forget 2-3 things if you joined us late.
The teaching online has started. You can go and register from today. I've been told by the university team. You can make your choice of 1 and 3 years as you fill in the same application form. Teachings will be live, very much as we see it, with the live cameras in the teaching room. If you participate as a full year, the fee has been put at less than euro per hour per teaching. So with €1,000, you can take a full year teaching, or you can split it over 3 or 4 payments that it can be affordable for most of the people. If you are in the university structure, send us an application as a university for the student to be able to use it. We'll do the same thing. And at the same time, within the next week or two, the university team will make ebook again available online and secure online at €10 per download per book, which becomes at the reach of everyone to be able to download, to be able to read the book if you're a student online. And in time we release more information as we come to it. But again, as I explained, if you have developed things like this, which we see with Nicholas, bring it. We give you ground, we give you a floor and space in the opening 21st, 22nd, 23rd for others to see, and other scientists and entrepreneur and what you call the key man in the industry in Italy who will be present, will see, and you might find sponsors in developing the technology for the foundation as spin off in support of other financial groups. So if you see something you have produced and it can be developed further, bring it and teach us. We have huge spaces, we can put tables around for you to explain to us. And if it's a point that you want to teach something addition you have discovered or you want to add to knowledge, we can give you your own lecture room for 1 or 2 or 3 hours or whole afternoon to ones who are interested. For that we need a little bit of planning, but the rooms are available. We give you a lecture time and presentation time. As I said again, because our security people are aware of the situation, what's going on possible, if you come in to abuse our presentation, we have full military force, police force available at site. You'll be the guest of the Italian government in prisons for a long time to appear in court. So you had our warning. So, and you will see full presence of police and security officers in every point of the lecture. Thank you very much indeed. Anything else? Is there any other questions? So we can wrap it up today.
I think we'll wrap it up for today. We have lots of other things to present for next time or in between.
I think the next time we allow Nicholas to carry on with the teaching. And next Tuesday, let Dr. Elia and Armand explain their needle game. That's it for a long time. And we'll see where we go.
Exactly. I also wanted to make a call that I know that others have been thinking this along the same ways as Nicholas, as in how does the flower of life actually play a part in this, in the plasma, the correlations between it. So I want to make a call to others, knowledge seekers that are out there, to bring your knowledge forward as well, and have something for next week, and you might be able to participate.
Maybe create, as we do with other things, a group that they can discuss, and collectively they pass their knowledge and their know-how to us in the next teachings.
We should set that up in the forum. Would be a good place to discuss.
Yes, not at this moment though. It would not be a good time at this moment, because I will make an announcement right now that the servers will be changing location. And at that particular point, the data on the forums that has been past March 13th will not be accessible. I plan to try to get that back into the forums at some point, but the data at this point, when we change servers, anything from March 13th till now, won't be seen on the new servers. So please, just want to make you guys aware of that. Anything from that point forward, though, should be just fine. We will make an announcement in the forums, and you'll see it just like normal when everything changes. So that should be quite shortly. But
Thank you
that's
very
it
much.
for now.
Thank you indeed. And thank you to the team in the back, the media team and the university team looking into the applications and clearing them. And or something which I have to tell you, when you're accepted and take up the online, you enter into a master degree, what we call executive master degree. So if you fulfill the criterion of the, not just buying the programs to get a degree, we monitor, there are certain things which will be announced, and you fulfill the criterion of online teaching, you will be given master. There are no examinations that you might pass. It's a process of how you teach from what you understood and the level of your teaching. So dissemination of information is the point of being able to attain the qualified examination, because when you teach, it shows what you learned. So that's the level of the examination you get. We'll announce this as we go further on. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you, Mr.
Great,
Keshe.
Thank you.
great.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks you to everybody.
A great
Thank you
day.
very
A
much.
great day off for you today.
You think I get off? I got booked all through Sunday. I have to go out. We go on higher grass to open this. When he opens up, he opens the problems of the life. So I'm gonna knot a couple of trees together because I have a bigger problem. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Okay, wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Yep, we had a few other things to present, but they can wait for later, and we're hot on the trail of this topic right now. So,
I appreciate everybody having patience for that to be presented. We know that it's important, especially when Mr. Keshe says that it is very important. So glad to everybody have some patience, and if you do have some questions, they will be answered. We will just get through this topic first because everybody might learn something and answer their own question.
right on.
Are you ready there, Rick, to end the workshop?
Let's end the workshop. I was going to put a brief plug in that some of us are fundraising to get to the opening of the Spaceship Institute, and people might consider that. And we still need funds to keep going. So I won't say all about what that's about.
Yes, please don't.
Don't want to promote things on this show, but anyway, let's end the show for now. That's the 56.
Well, I think,
you want to mention about
Rick,
that?
Sorry, I do want to mention that because it helps everybody in that. If we want to be able to present the opening to everybody on live stream, and to do that professionally and properly, I think that we need to be there so that we can oversee things and see that things go smoother. If we're not there, we can't say that we can guarantee anything. It still might turn out, but we won't be there to have that control to make sure that it works out. So if you'd like to watch this on live stream, as in the opening ceremonies of the Spaceship Institute or the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, please donate so that we can arrange for these flights, because the knowledge is free, but the infrastructure is definitely more than what we can handle in terms of payments.
Yeah, we're generally on the edge kind of folks here, so everything helps, and we're getting help from all angles, and it's just incredible. I think we're actually going to make it if all the ends meet, but it's still iffy. And so I'm really thankful for all the people that have already donated and so on. We have two different campaigns. One is the Indiegogo, and the other is the GoFundMe. I don't think it's just.
I do want to make an announcement that anything over and above that is donated to these two donation campaigns is all going to the foundation. In terms of if we raise anything of our goal and above, then it'll all go to the Keshe Foundation anyways. So please be aware that when you donate there, yes, you're helping us get there, but you're also donating to the Keshe Foundation as well.
Yeah, and the both the links are in the usual Facebook sites at the Spaceship Institute and Keshe Foundation. So you can find the clickable sites there. It's the best way to do it. This one is just simply called Send Us to the Spaceship Institute in Italy. You can search Indiegogo with that. Spaceship Institute should show up. And same with GoFundMe. Okay, we should probably end things there, I guess.
Yeah, and I do want to say a big thank you to Amrock for that beautiful logo. It's very good.
Focus on that now, actually.
That Canadian flag in that. It's it brings us that are all together here in Canada a place for the Spaceship Institute. So thank you, Amrock, for that.
Yeah, it's delightful. Many thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And for all the other work you do too, Amrock in the background. So thanks a lot. Okay, I guess that's it. And see you all next time around. It's the end of the 56 Knowledge Seekers Workshop.